This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 534 for the week of Monday, August 27th, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's episode, we have very special guest, translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, Stephen Paul, with us. Once again, the only translator on today's episode. How's it going, Stephen?
It feels so much better. No, I'm just kidding. That was awesome having Caleb on. I was glad he's able to come on. I was trying to get him to come on for a while, I think, or wishing that he would come on. So I was happy. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, go check that out.
Yeah, hopefully we could have him on more. I was one of our fans criticized him for not asking enough Dr. Stone questions, so maybe next time.
Okay, there we go.
We also have the animation, one of the directors for Rick and Morty. We have Brian Newton with us. How's it going, Brian?
I'm okay. It's good to be on for a Wano chapter.
Yeah. You've been on for two. This is your second one, actually. I look back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you were here when we went up the waterfall that went in some direction.
Right, but I missed all the best stuff.
Yeah. Well, now you won't. Now you have some good stuff to talk about.
Huzzah.
And, of course, we have our anime recap host and Anime News Network contributor. We have Sam Leach with us. How's it going, Sam?
I really need to up my intro game. I don't have a lot to say.
I don't know. That was pretty good. I like that, Sam. It's kind of meta. We have a lot to do this episode. We have a manga recap for chapter 915. We have an anime recap. Sam, what is that for?
That would be for episode 851.
Thank you, Sam. We also have some piece together, of course. Before we get started, we're going to have a little news in a second in this segment, so this is not going to be all promotion, so don't skip 15 seconds. I know you're about to hit that button. Do not hit that button. Okay, so before we get into things, I want to talk about Patreon. We have shuffled around our Patreon tiers, our Patreon benefits. We're going to also be adding a lot of new stuff. We're phasing out our physical rewards for more of that sweet digital reward. So right now, $1 tier is the same. At $3, we're going to have all of Maddie's awesome art and alternate titles and all that. Probably going to be adding a little more to that as well. For our $5 tier, we're going to have our back catalog and exclusive access to Dispiece and our Discord room, which I've now synchronized finally with Patreon. I figured out how to do that.
Yeah, and our Patreon feed has its own RSS now, so you can subscribe to that.
Yes, that's even more importantly. You can subscribe. And that's important for the $10 tier, where we have exclusive episodes, early episodes. So when there's no manga, for example, the next time we don't have the manga, we're going to talk about that Skypiea special that just came out. So you'll be able to hear that early exclusively on Patreon. So make sure for those $10 and up. We also have, let's see if we added anything new. Any videos will be for those 25 and up. We'll have like exclusive videos and early videos and all that kind of stuff. I have named Steve's category, which has been there for a while. It's the Mr. Prince category. So you could get some artwork from Steve. That's a limited options there, which I'm sure Steve would.
But they are still available, so
yes,
go for it.
For those in the 100 and above, you could get an appearance on the podcast, and if you're a big spender for 150, you get to come on, pick your own segment, pick your own people. Try, if you want a guest, we'll do our best to get that guest on as well. So that's what's new. There's going to be more, so keep an ear to the ground here. There's also some news in the One Piece world. I want to talk about first the 20th anniversary for the anime One Piece movie that's coming out next year. Steven, what do we know about it?
We know that it's coming out in summer of 2019. I think that was the extent of the teaser that they put up. That was at the end of the episode of Skypiea, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's smart to release it in summer when Japanese people would most like to not be outside.
Sure.
That is accurate. I would like a cold movie theater in July or August. But yeah.
One of the few places in Japan that regularly has air conditioning.
So hopefully we'll have more news about that as it comes out. But as of now, we know nothing about it. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that they're close enough that they're talking about it now. There's always some kind of additional animation project going on with One Piece. We always know that they're working on something, but it's nice to have it out in the open. Know that it is coming closer. and closer.
Exactly.
The question is, how many crew members will be in the Straw Hats this time?
Oh my god.
Clock's ticking, Oda.
Yeah, Jinbei. Should I get the tarot card and see?
God, I think Sabo has a better chance of making another movie appearance than Jinbei.
Ace has a better appearance, a better
That's
chance of making an appearance.
ridiculously sad.
That's a better joke.
I'm re-getting my hopes up for Caesar Clown.
You know what? I'm with Sam there. That would be fun. Any of you say Nakao, really?
Maybe Wanze will get another.
Again, it's amazing Wanze got in before Jinbei. Anyway, there's also something called Jump Anime Festa coming up. Steven, I think we're also pretty light on the details there.
I think this just got I don't know if this was announced elsewhere previous to this, but I believe it was today's issue of Jump in Japan had an advertisement for the Jump Anime Fest, which used to be... I think they stopped doing it, like 10 or 15 years ago or something like that. But it used to be a thing where, like, if you're serious, like, they would make a special or something that would run. It was like a theatrical thing. They'd put together a bunch of shorts or half-hour specials and things. And that was actually where that original One Piece OVA, like the Pirate Ganzak thing came from, was the Jump Anime Festa. And apparently they're bringing it back, and I guess they're going to have some kind of One Piece thing. But it sounds, it's not very clear because it's just kind of like a teaser, a little splash advertisement thing. But it sounds like they're maybe going to have some advanced animation, like a advanced airing of some of the Luffy versus Katakuri fight. Possibly, like it was phrased as like advanced airing. So in other words, it would be something that you will see on TV, but
even though it already started now in August, and this is in when is the Jump Anime Festa again?
Do we know?
Actually,
no.
Yeah, it started this week's anime episodes.
Yeah, but as manga fans know, and not a big spoiler here for anime listeners, it lasts a little while. So buckle your seatbelts there. It's not a bad thing. It lasts a while. Sam, are you excited or hopeful for something to come out of this as our resident anime expert?
I'm counting down the days for One Piece Kai already. I need it.
I agree with
happened,
you.
They cut up some of the like a good fourth of episode of Skypiea was just reused, remastered footage from the original broadcast, and I
saw.
I want that.
It might have been you.
I just want all that.
Screen caps, and I've watched the anime so many times. I was watching it right away, and I'm like, that's not new. That's old. That's old school One Piece. But I still think those first. Well, I don't think One Piece is a pacing issue till it gets to Alabasta.
Right.
So, but then again, that's 5 episodes at this point now.
But think about what comes even in between that. That's the Apis stuff, and there's a lot of filler in those periods as well.
Oh, but how are we gonna rewrite that important scene of Eric being on the Mary when they go up Reverse Mountain?
Okay, to be fair, that's an amazing scene.
Honestly, that's the greatest thing 4Kids ever did. Take that dude out.
Episode of East Blue showed me that I can tolerate cutting out a surprising amount and still enjoy it. So if you just get a longer version of that, I don't know.
Look, if you're really desperate for One Piece Kai, you could always read the manga. Sorry.
Or just watch it at a faster speed.
Yeah. Do they have that thing like they do with podcasts where you could go at double
1.
speed?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, you can do that.
Does Crunchyroll have that? Speaking of Crunchyroll,
I got through watching that movie, The Phantom.
Last but not least, we already discussed this a little bit, but the Skypiea movie is available in subtitled English in all your normal providers for One Piece, including Funimation and Crunchyroll. So if you have not checked it out, you have no excuse. That's all. That's all there is to that. So I think that's going to be Steve. I mean,
said I have an excuse.
What's your excuse?
I've just been busy.
That's not a good excuse, Steve.
There's another excuse.
What's your excuse, Sam?
It's just okay. You don't need to watch it.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Wow.
We're gonna be talking about the Skypiea special whenever the manga's off next. And as I said, if you're a Patreon listener, that means you will get to listen to that either a commentary or recap, probably a recap. earlier than everyone else. So that's everything I have to talk about. So why don't we just get into some manga? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sumo.
This is the manga recap for chapter 915, Bakura Town. Ed, what's going on in the front here?
The Saga of the Self-Proclaimed Straw Hat Fleet, volume 534. I mean, 43. A bonus story, no more pirating. Bellamy is now a master dyer. And doesn't mean he's really good at killing, even though he probably still is, but he's actually dyeing flags.
He should be dead, so is that what that's referring to?
Yeah. After all the
Good
series,
at dying then.
after being in the process of dyeing the entire series, he's now a master at it.
Well, if you told me at the time, like years ago, that Bellamy was now a master dyer, I'm like, well, yeah, he got killed by Doflamingo and Jaya. But everyone else has made this joke.
Don't correct him. So. Don't correct him. Yeah, Ed, so you want to describe
I know he's gotten
happening?
smacked over the head a couple of times, too, with that stick, that hickory stick.
I'm sure deservedly so.
Yeah. There's a child admiring his work. That's nice.
Yeah, Steven, what's on that guy's apron?
Oh, that's just the kanji for die. It's the it was on one of the flags. Yeah. Yes.
The Bart.
D Bellamy D. Yes.
Did Bellamy take everyone's advice years ago when everyone was saying, "Oh, Bellamy should have died"? Just for a second. Maybe I will, fans. Maybe I will.
And he seems to have a new tattoo on his chest.
No, he's had that.
That's always
It's the Doflamingo one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind.
Bet he regrets
That's awkward now.
Yeah, that's awkward. Maybe he'll get a giant Sun Pirates tattoo over that.
I'm really curious to see how this is going to play into the rest of the One Piece story. Or maybe it's just a silly one-off like Gadatsu.
No, this is definitely. I mean, it's One Piece. I'm sure this is gonna, especially since Bellamy is kind of hooked into the Luffy story and the Grand Fleet. I feel like this is gonna land somewhere.
Well, this is like the DLC. It's like it's not necessarily, you don't have to play it, but it's a good bonus.
Yeah, and it's gonna kind of come back later, but it won't matter even when it comes back later. It's not that important.
I'm wondering if he got the knots on his head because he's like, come on, I want to draw a skull sticking the tongue out. He's like, and his teacher's like, nope, basics first. He does the generic flags.
I have a feeling that is
right back up the tongue.
I mean, otherwise you end up like with flags like Luffy used to draw, you know?
Yeah.
That was a good one. Laboon liked it.
I like the guy's flag.
Guys, do we all?
He looks like a Pikmin.
Yeah.
Do we all miss Orlumbus though? I think that's
no. Why did you ask that question?
By the way, we should also be keeping score about how many things we correctly predicted this week, and this would be number 1. I forgot who said it. I don't know who to give credit here.
I think it was Alex. Alex had a couple correct predictions.
Yeah. Okay, let's give it to
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, he was gloating about it in the DMs.
I don't know why I snort laughed at that. Ed, go ahead.
All right, so as the title says, we are in Bakura Town, Kuri, Wano. Sumo event in progress. And, there is one event characteristic of Sumo that is indeed going on. And the Yokozuna is stuffing his face. And we see that he begins to talk. So, Ronan's strange intensity drove me off, but mark my words, I will have Okiku for my bride. He's kind of a slow talker. I got status, I got fame, I got safe, high-quality food. There's no reason she'd ever turn me down.
I like this voice.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
I'm filling your head with idiotic worries. This woman's from Okobore, right? They're lower class. They can't serve under Shogun Orochi. Take her by force and burn down her house. Kill all her relatives and leave her with nowhere else to go. Make it so her only option to survive is to rely on your generosity. You belong to the warrior class. Wano has a strict class system. If the star of the national sport is begging for the favor of the lower class, it sets a poor example for the rest.
So that's Mo Sislak.
I kinda, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I was just doing like a New Yorker type bad guy.
Hey.
New Jersey.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
You don't
Sorry,
talk
Brad.
with the accent no more.
Oh yeah, you're right. I can do what I please with Okiku. So at this point, he overturns the. And we are officially introduced to the mouse man of the gifters, dear old rat boy.
This panel.
Rat Boy's his son.
Yeah, this panel specifically, where he knocks over the rice bowl. I just want to point out how awesome this tiny little panel is, because you can really feel his size in this panel because of like how he's flushed up against the back wall, and you see like the shadow. It's like literally
his top knot touches the roof beam.
Yeah. And it's just like, usually Oda doesn't do that. Like, you can even compare it to the panel on the previous page where he's just sitting and eating. He just feels like he's a character in that world, but this literally feels like he's an inconvenience.
I mean, that's also true.
Just like filling up the space.
Remember, Japanese structures, especially in olden times, were very small, so that someone like Steve or Sam might be the same height as this guy.
Right, and I think that's why that specific panel is making a point to feel out how much he's confined in this space, how much space he's actually filling up.
Yeah.
See him next to dear old rat boy as a raccoon sort of tiptoes across the panel there on the bottom right. But yeah, as you said, he and crash and knocks the open hand, slaps the bowl off the table, giant bowl of rice that he's eating. And the old couple who own the place are like, Yokozuna, did the taste displease you? And that's not the point. He said, basically he moves on quickly to saying, I noticed that raccoon. Wait, my voice. I noticed that raccoon dog there. And they say, yeah, that has been our pet for years and years. I want you to cook it. What? The raccoon dog is my favorite.
One more Mouse Man joke. Mouse Man is also the generic name for Mickey Mouse. So
will Chopper die?
That is Chopper.
Yeah. Yes, no, I should point out, this is technically a Tanuki, raccoon dog being, the English name, and just what we've been using for that whole line of jokes with Chopper. So there,
is this
now
a
we've seen it.
Is this a foreshadowing for what is it, Uramashi? Urashima?
Oh, we'll get to his name in a second.
Urameshi? Yeah, it's just gonna be Urameshi. It's just gonna be a setup between him and Chopper.
That's an interesting translation, honestly, because it's Wano, and you could just give him the Japanese name, but otherwise, it just looks like a raccoon.
Yeah, I would have preferred to do that, but I think just going with the precedent there is kind of it's part of the gag.
Well, I think the English translation this entire time has always used raccoon dog and not Tanuki, so it'd be kind of odd to just now back off from doing that. So I think we have this is a joke that's been playing up for so many years. It's a reoccurring gag, so we got to stay the course.
The reader has to make that connection. That's what's most important here. Stephen, go ahead.
All right, and so we switch to a mansion in Bakura Town, and we seem to be someone is talking to Gazelle Man. Very, very speedy, like your reputation. Is that the one, Gazelle Man? The poor thing looks like she's about to burst into tears. And so we see Otama, who is looking on the verge of tears. Yes, she's got the little pout going. And Gazelle Man in the background has been huffing and panting and wheezing the whole time.
Do the voice.
Wait, which voice? What was our voice?
Had to do the panting and heaving.
Could Stephen act? He already wrote this.
I like his wheezing.
Yeah, and
so nice to have Dom DeLuise on the show.
Well, that would be laughing. But he is. Tama is like she's telling herself, I'm not gonna cry, and Gazelle Man is trying to report. He's like, and he's thinking, God, my side is killing me. And hold him here on the side as we see the same silhouette that we got the last chapter. Is like, all right, okay, enough of you. You're wasting my time. Just get out of here. Shut up with the panting. And we get one last panel of him going, as he's walking out the door, and he's just like, and build up some stamina for crying out loud.
Fucking amazing.
He's a freak. He's the fastest kid alive.
You can really feel it in your side watching him.
Yeah, the posing is great.
That pose of him holding his sides makes him look like Xavier Renegade Angel.
I see what you're
Yeah, with the
what you're
legs.
going for. Yeah.
And so yeah, I like the guy holding open the door too. He's like, all right, you can go, as he turns around and ignobly leaves. And on the other side of the page, we see, the lion from Hold'em, but he appears to be looking upward at the camera, glaring. And Hold'em says, "I wasn't talking to you. Don't look back at my face." And then we see the full shot where, yes, this is Alex 2 for 2. Here's the lion was not actually his face. It turns out the lion is almost like a championship belt here, just right around his midsection.
I feel like Oda's trolling me at this point. Like he won't give Zoro the second Katetsu. He won't give me a lion fruit user. I'm just being denied everywhere.
The extra arms are the creepy part to me.
Yeah. So it's great.
Like,
but yeah. Now this is I don't know. Does his actual head or his face looks familiar? It looks familiar for some reason. I don't know if this is just kind of general Oda designism, but
He's got the same hair as that guy from the Colosseum in Dressrosa, the bloody guy.
there are a couple of them.
There are a lot of bloody people in that Coliseum.
But yeah, he's the kind of your typical guy with the broad shoulders and a huge midsection. And as mentioned, the lion has his own set of arms that are resting on his legs, and he's just kind of reaching down and pounding his lion. That is not a euphemism. And this is Hold'em, the headliner of the Animal Kingdom Pirates with the Lion Smile Fruit. And this does successfully get Otama to burst into tears, who is afraid of the fact that this weird guy has a lion on his tummy.
Well, he actually has not one but 4 Comedy Central logos tattooed on his arms. So
I mean, maybe maybe he's just copywritten several times over.
maybe he just still believes that cable is the end all be all of entertainment.
Well, he looks old enough.
There's a lot of possibilities.
If it has the line coming off it, does that mean it's what is it? Common.
Oh
Common.
yeah, common. Yeah, I know. What you're...
Oh yeah, Creative Commons.
Creative Commons.
Yes,
right.
Creative Commons. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, you could totally post Hold'em onto Wikipedia and not get in trouble. Is what we mean.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Stephen?
No, that's it.
All right, Sam.
So we turn the page, and the lion is now looking back up at Hold'em's real face and growling. "Urgh." And Hold'em is saying, "What's with that rebellious look?" And the lion responds by flipping his paw and punching him in the balls.
Himself in the ball.
It's the lion's patented family jewels attack. But now the lion is also yelping in pain because it turns out, but they share the same body. So they're also the lion's jewels at the same time.
Oh, Lion Man's got nards.
I guess 2 heads are better than 1.
I was waiting for that one.
Oh, boy.
This joke.
Why does he never learn? So apparently this has happened before.
Yeah. I mean, it's the patented attack, so that would imply that he does it a lot.
I find it offensive that the lion doesn't have a name. He's just the lion.
Master Hold'em, what should we do with the kid? And then Hold'em is just sprawled out on the ground, wrestling with the lion's arms, laying on his side on the ground.
I never saw that.
Yeah, he's holding him, so he can't keep attacking him.
Man gets hit by lion.
And he's shaking too, so he's still shivering from the. It's still going up his spine. Answer me, girl. How did a child like you tame that baboon? And Tama is not speaking. My followers witnessed you doing it. I can only assume that you have real devil fruit powers. What was this guy's name again? I can't. Hitetsu.
Hitetsu, yeah.
Yes. Otama is remembering Hitetsu saying, "Otama, be aware that your ability will be helpful. That your ability, while helpful, is also desirable to the enemy. You must not use it in the presence of others." And Tama is just sort of fiddling with her fingers. I guess I'm just good with animals. And Hold'em is saying, "But I heard that you tore off your cheeks. Let's try it out. Hey, bring me pliers." And are saying, "Yes, sir. We'll get you some pliers."
Well, this is
And
taking a dark turn.
Tama is looking scared. She's saying to herself, "Brick Bro Luffy, help me, Brick Bro."
You're my only hope.
Brian?
Yes. So we have a shot of the gateway and a smaller gateway beneath, or at least further in the background, because that's how perspective works. And
Indeed.
then a good shot of Zoro and Okiku, who's thinking, "Poor Tama," and a devious-looking shot of Luffy, and they're all rushing into danger under the gates. And immediately, we're introduced to the front gate of Bakura, Kuri, and Wano. And Luffy lets out with a mighty roar, "Tama, we're here to save!" As Okiku
It's an
quickly
odd
covers his
impression of
mouth.
Luffy.
Yeah, but this initial shot of Bakura is really awesome, with just like samurai and people in Japanese robes hanging out. But we have Okiku covering Luffy's mouth, who's still trying to yell out. She's like, "No, you can't. Please, Luffy Taro, you mustn't say that." And we get a panel of a few ruffians. They're like, "Hey, who are you people? Halt! I have no record of you leaving town." And Okiku elaborates to Luffy. All the people here in this town are cohorts of those who took Otama. And we have a shot of Luffy doing what we probably suspected he's doing.
Ed?
Yep. So as a Camacho dashes past, and we like the foam it's coming out the mouths, and Okiku's like, "Did you do something?" And Luffy just like, "Hockey." So just letting it pass without comment. It's like, yeah, it's hockey. Catch up. So Zoro is like, how do we search for him? But the bystanders notice that's a huge Komainu. Whose is that? But Zoro, I guess Zoro continues. It doesn't seem like anyone here would tell us. But he says some of these people look normal, like normal people. They wouldn't want to fight us. But Okiku explains that the villagers here have always lived here. This was a lively castle town originally until 20 years ago. I guess that would also be around the time that Lord Odin left. So we're not saying that explicitly, but that is what it is. One day, Orochi's henchmen came and seized whatever houses they desired, and they left only the merchants handling necessities, like booze. What's the one in the other panel there, Stephen?
The other one isn't really specific. It's just sort of like general goods or sundry goods or something like that. But so we were just like, okay, well, if we're going to do one, make sure that the alcohol in the panel where she's talking about necessities is made clear.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the whorehouse.
No. They're talking about the burlesque house.
The bordello?
Yeah, that's and the rest were driven out of town. That's Bakura town for you. And Luffy notices something, and something's coming flying directly at them. Luffy catches it.
Not an arrow this time.
No, he catches it with his hands. He slows that down. That's impressive.
Yeah, Luffy's got a fat load of that skin right there.
I thought it was that's the belt. I think.
No, I mean that's
dark.
white. Yeah, the belt is dark.
Well, that's painful.
Which part is it? Okay, I'm not going to think about this too much.
No. Zoro notices that they're doing something farther ahead. And I guess that's Luffy who's saying, well, sumo wrestler just came flying at us, so maybe it's sumo. You mean he was thrown all the way here just from the match? And he's got a big palm print on all over him?
These
Ridiculous.
two are still being bad at being pirates.
They are so goofy.
It's like, Well, a giant sumo wrestler flew at us. Maybe there's a sumo competition, Brian.
And then we get a shot of what's it, Hiroshima?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. Hiroshima in all his glory. And we get an announcer similar to Dressrosa. He's unstoppable. There's no way to defeat this man. The champion Yokozuna of Flower City, Hiroshima! And then the crowds are going crazy. Yay, Hiroshima, he's huge. So mighty. And I actually really do like Hiroshima's design, especially in this panel right here. And the announcer continues. This is a special bit of public entertainment. A dream prize of 500 gold coins to the one who defeats Hiroshima. And then I guess there's someone in the crowd responding to this saying like, does anyone here feel confident in their strength? Come on out. Come on, all, test your mantle. But it's not the announcer. That's weird. And there's someone else like, oh, he's so tough. We can't even set up a betting pool because he keeps beating everybody, as we saw earlier. Then we get another couple of pretty tough-looking dudes entering the ring. As many challenges as you want, as long as you can fit within the ring. He's beaten 19 already. It's like, and then one of the dudes who looks pretty tough. And you notice one of them also has a horn coming out of his head, and he also has like weird tattoo patterns. My guess is he's one of Kaido's men. He might be a gifter. Yeah. But they're going all according to plan. That prize is ours. And we actually see the announcer, who's a delightful looking chap in shades.
I love this design.
He looks like Kazuki Yao a little.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Frankie crossed with Richard Belzer.
Well, that's Kazuki Yao.
Yeah, I mean that is Kazuki Yao. Yeah.
Yeah. He might actually play him.
For those who don't know, that's
great.
the voice actor for Frankie and Mr. 2.
Yeah, I also appreciate this old guy right next to him with the extra long top lip.
Is that the Gyoji, the ref?
No, he's the doctor. Because, well, I mean, if you read the panel.
No, the Kyoji would be wearing a much more colorful outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, I see him in the next panel, actually.
Oh yeah, I see him. I see him too. Small panel.
Yeah.
So they continue. And out of that total, how many broken bones do we have? And then the doctor's like, there's 10 arms and 15 legs and 52 ribs, 4 skulls and 7 spines. And then the announcer goes, that's 80 bones in total, plus 4 contestants gone missing.
Also known as murder.
Delightful murder. They continue, and this is a great panel too. And what the hell is going on with that like floating roof?
Okay, that's a shrine that they hang from the ceiling at Sumo Hall during tournaments.
How's it floating?
Yes.
That's a good question.
It's Wano.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's like a regular sumo
Isn't it
match.
the sound effects? Because the sound effects are around it, and like
No,
every
no,
panel.
no. That's just the crowd.
Yeah, every
the crowd.
panel. Yeah, every panel, that little roof thing is hanging unsupported.
Also, if you remember Dressrosa, that sound effect was there the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, his might is simply inhuman. Beat Hiroshima, you slugs! I put money on you. The undefeated monster Hiroshima, the Yokozuna. Oh, Hiroshima. Yeah. And then we have to me, it's the highlight of this whole chapter is Hiroshima notices across the crowd. He sees Luffy, Okiku, and Zoro approaching him. Of course, and he's I guess, what's the ref called in this situation?
Gyoji.
Gyoji. The Gyoji goes, take positions at the ready. And even before like anyone says go, he slaps the 3 like contestants right in front of him, like way off the frame. He's like, ooh!
Well, because he notices something in the background there.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, this is a little tidbit. I didn't know this, but I was looking it up, because I was trying to, like, okay, how do I do are there specific phrases that the referee, the Goji, uses in sumo? And they actually don't have, they have kind of a on your marks or like you're still in it type things when they go nagota, which means like, okay, you didn't go out like like the match is still going, but they actually don't have a like start signal. It's just like, okay, they line up and then they just go.
Yeah, I've
Oh
noticed
no,
that.
the both fighters have to have at least one hand touch the clay.
Well, yeah, that's
Once
their
they do
the
that,
referee-
they can start whenever they want.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
there's a
referee
lot of
doesn't-
gamesmanship there, actually, and some
Yeah.
people get bad reputations because of not,
Mhm.
of how they deal with false starts.
But this
Yeah.
this would not be good for the reputation.
No.
I
But
also
who
want,
cares? He's the best.
and I could tell, Brian, you've worked in animation for quite a while with those voices. Steve.
They're off in the distance. He sees, "Oh, Kiku, you came to see me after all. Have you made up your mind to be my wife?" As he lets out a little steam from his nose, and then
Do the voice better.
The peanut
I am-
galleries.
I am shocked and offended that came from Brian.
I'm drinking.
Well, now we know. Speaking of the peanut gallery, we get the haters, the female haters, like, "What? Irishima's wife?" And the announcer says, like, "Did I hear that right? Urashima has betrothed in the crowd? That's one lucky lady. The Yokozuna himself has his eye on her." And and I think someone just retorts, like, "Why? This is an utter scandal." Why? I
You're
never-
famous. You can't be in love.
is this like
to love me.
is this like the AKB48 or whatever? Like they
Yeah,
can't.
like I'm not sure if it's meant to be like a satirical view of that, or if it's just like, oh, this is natural. This is what everybody does when the celebrity has a potential partner.
I like the
Pretty
idea that that's how sumo wrestlers are idolized here.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sumo wrestlers, the Backstreet Boys, it's like the same thing. You
Mhm.
can't reveal about your love life.
Have you seen
Uh,
Justin Timberlake?
Not a Backstreet Boy.
Good point. Good point.
I'll
I'll take my leave.
Please do. Okiku then pulls a me, tries hiding behind someone smaller than them. And she's like, "Oh no!" And Zoro says, "You do realize you can't really hide behind me."
I lost it. That panel. That's the best joke in this whole chapter.
I also love the running gag that Zoro can't not mention her height as like a thing, which I
Well,
didn't
she's
like.
trying to hide. It's not going to work.
No, it's a great joke on that, but it's funny also just that Zoro is just like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Go ahead.
And Okiku says, like, if that's just what he's saying, and as we flash back a little before when Otama was brought into the tea house, says, "Okiku, we've been having a public event in Bakura soon. I'm gonna put on a show, so if you're interested, you should absolutely come see me. Why are you fretting over this sick little girl?" And I guess she was paying attention, but barely. But Zoro is the one that's kind of listening in on this more. And then Urashima says, "Okiku has come to see me. Bring her here, boys." "Yes, sir. You're such a player, bro. I look up to you so much.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it?
I respect your narrow-minded, misogynistic perspective on life." And Luffy says, like, hey, you guys, what's going on? We're looking for someone. She's a little kid named Tama. Tell me where to find the boss of this town. She's bound to be there. No one really pays mind to what Luffy's saying. I believe this is still the peanut gallery. So I'm like, "Ooh, I'm so jealous. She's gonna snag that hunk."
Good line.
That bitch. And this one guy's like, she might be tall, but she's just right for Urashima. And they just pick
It's
her up.
like a
and-
'90s dub, like an early '90s dub.
Yeah.
That guy
Well-
ships him. He's got the heart.
I'm just saying we can make every one of these guys sound like every other character in Gundam Wing.
Well, what about the Mobile Suit 5 resources?
It's an Okiku. So Luffy's like, "Hey, Zoro, why'd you let them take her?" And Zoro's like, "It didn't feel right to cut up a naked guy."
I
his
agree with
bit.
Zoro's logic.
I like that he just turned into Patrick Warburton in there.
I also love that. I also love that on this page, like Luffy's trying to yada yada the whole thing. He's like, "Can we just get to the boss here? Like, just show me the boss. I'm just gonna beat him."
He wants to put in the cheat code and just go right to the last level.
I mean, he knows
Yeah.
he's gonna beat him. I mean, it's like Saitama in One Punch Man. It's like, look, I'm gonna just kick his ass. Let me just get there already. I have to get back home.
There's gonna be a lot of great artwork. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just gonna.
But I enjoyed just having this buddy cop duo with Luffy and Zoro again. It's fun.
They're so goofy.
Yeah.
This whole chapter.
Yeah, what's great about it, it's so goofy, but there's no threat. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we go to the last page here, and one of the peanut gallery says, "Hey, isn't that the girl from the tea house outside?" And she is not high enough to enter this place. Not like me, the random member of the crowd.
I hate her.
Anyway, the woman on the left there is infuriated that a commoner could even think to look at this Yokozuna. She kick her out. She does not deserve to be here. And the Yokozuna human Jinbei Urashima says, "Silence, commoners. From the perspective of the warrior class, you're all chattel. You're all my property." Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a relief. Whether any of you die or live, it's up to me. And then he resumes to flounder his way over to Okiku. With...
Zach did the voice fine.
Wasn't even trying to do the voice, so I really appreciate that compliment. Saying,
Brian's just responding to that tweet and trying to knock me down a peg.
I see
He wants to steal my spot of giving the other host shit.
So he fawns after her, and this is when Okiku takes out her badassery and says, "This one knows of no person named Chattel." And to be fair, nor do I. And she unsheathes her sword and jumps over to the Yokozuna, cutting off his sacred top knot, which is glad someone here understood the gravity.
It's
of the
important.
situation.
That's a secret taboo.
And Ting comes off, and she says, "Surely you jest. Is it your heart that is truly low?" And everyone is shock-faced as they notice exactly what has just transpired. And the Yokozuna looks... oh, no, who is that the announcer? Who is shocked there in the middle? I'm trying to figure out...
Yokozuna.
That is
Urashima.
Yokozuna. Oh, Urashima.
Yashima, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's his eyebrow. I thought that was his hairline, but I guess that's his eyebrow. Anyway.
He does look like Caesar right now.
Yeah, he looks like, what the hell? The ninja. Raizo. He does look a little like Raizo. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Luffy responds, "That was sweet, man. Kiku is awesome. This is getting fun." Is basically being the audience here. And Zoro's like, that should get the boss involved mighty quick, verily. He doesn't say that part. Anyway, that's the chapter. Let's talk about it. Brian, what did you think?
I thought the chapter was okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, in comparison to the other chapters you've had this arc so far, like the return of Basil Hawkins, like kind of like discovering the stakes of Wano, this one's just like, now we're in a town in a public area and can see like how the Straw Hats, Luffy, Zoro specifically, are going to interact in this world. And what's most interesting about it, they're just kind of like blasé, just going through it. Just like, because I guess they're on a mission to save Tama, which is important. And the Hodem reveal is comedy. It's just like what's interesting right now is like Kaido obviously seems like such a major threat, but like the first person we get introduced to as a major antagonist to them is a complete fucking clown. even it, like what's it, Batuman and Gazelle Man are also kind of clownish too. So it's like it's interesting that these are the first run up representatives for the Beast Pirates.
I love all these guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no, I love them too. I'm just saying they're clowns.
Oh, complete clowns.
Yeah, they're clownish.
Sam?
I enjoyed this chapter quite a bit. I think a lot of people, we're all waiting for Wano to get like a lot more serious and to get a lot deeper with the Kaido stuff. But my enjoyment of Wano so far has really picked up with Okiku, the samurai. I think she's just both like the jokes with all her height and stuff are great. And I'm just like super interested to learn more about like what being a samurai means in this world. So the Okiki stuff has me really excited, and this is also the chapter where I'm starting to enjoy the Kaido's henchmen, because like before they were so weird and unpleasant, but now they're weird and unpleasant in a fun way. I think Hold'em is great. So yeah, we're still in this kind of phase where it feels like we're gearing up to whatever Wano is ultimately meant to be, and how epic it's going to get. But as this little like opening act, I'm finally starting to get into this, where it was a little dry for me before.
Stephen.
Yeah, I would agree that I think Oda has been kind of pushing us through this early material at a pretty quick pace, and while I think initially it may have seemed a little off-putting, or just sort of like trying to shove as much stuff in front of your face as possible to keep it moving, I think like after having seen several, whatever it's been, like a half dozen chapters of just kind of constant movement through Wano, and getting to see all these sites without kind of spending too much time on them, but just enough for these fun little set pieces. I'm really enjoying the way that he is taking us through this, and not giving us like this whole like a giant like Lord of the Rings style like grand story that is going to dwarf everything that we're seeing. Like we're kind of building it up from the ground level, and I think that's working as an introduction to this, as to not overwhelm the reader. And I also agree. Like I really like the fact that all these gifters are shown to be very clownish, and I think that's a good angle to use to make them more compelling as characters. Maybe not as so much as threats, but as characters, it makes them more compelling. Because I mean, we've just in the New World, we've been through Fishman Island, and we've had Zoe, we've had tons of animal people. So just guys with animal powers on their own. There's only so much novelty there. So I think kind of having them be all like super ugly and goofy has been a lot of fun, and it's a new angle, I think, to that. I loved the just that one panel of the lion punching him in the balls, just because of like the angle, that he's like right there, like with such purpose and such intensity and ferocity, just like reaching down and just pummeling him in the nads is just amazing. And the double reaction, like I think that's going to be hilarious in the anime, with like two voice actors groaning at the same time.
Do you think two voice actors, huh?
I would hope so. Well, I mean, at the very least, it's got to be like the lion's got to have its own growling.
Yeah, the lion will have a voice actor as well.
Yeah. I guess after that, like the Okiku stuff is really fun. It's neat to see her like immediately kind of take this action, because we knew that she was a samurai, leading up in the last chapter, and then seeing her act on it and do something really cool, even if it's not physically amazing, but yeah, obviously the symbolic act of cutting off his top knot is
it's like completely reckless and a complete offense. So it's like, this is like the worst thing you could do to a guy like this.
She just like stepped all over his new kicks, like everybody there's like, oh.
The ritualistic cutting of the top knot is what you do when you leave sumo. I was just reminded of a picture that I saw from the 70s of a guy who went on to become a famous professional wrestler having a like a big fancy ceremony involving the cutting of the top knot. And I mean, it's a really significant thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed this chapter a lot.
Great. Steve.
I'm kind of more on the Brian spectrum of things. It was a fine chapter. It didn't really stick with me much after reading it. I think probably the most memorable thing is Hold'em's reveal, with his Lion Championship title stomach. Sure, there's gonna be plenty of more good gags there. I'm really surprised we're seeing more of Hiroshima this soon. I felt like he kind of would have gone away for a little bit, but more Luffy and Zoro at least. But not one of my favorite chapters so far from Wano, but it's still just building the world, and it's still fun. Like, it's still great quality, but just not the most memorable for me.
Ed.
I thought this chapter was hilarious. And it's just like a gag manga, this chapter for me. I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, this isn't what One Piece is like week to week. So I appreciate when he has things like this spliced in just to bring levity. And I think the beginning of the arc is a good place to bring levity, especially when it's goofy like this. Zoro and Luffy are very goofy this entire chapter. But they still get the sort of emotional through line of it over about these people don't care about human life. Like, unless you're on their level, they think that they're all useless. So he got his point across. That he gets to look really goofy with this sumo wrestler doing it. Other than that, it's just gag after gag after gag, really.
Yeah, I'd have to echo Ed. I really enjoyed this chapter more than the last few, I'd say, just because it was probably the most entertaining chapter in a couple weeks. If not, there are no big reveals, none of that kind of stuff, but it was just a thoroughly entertaining time. Like, I really enjoyed reading this, and not for the same reasons I usually enjoy reading a One Piece chapter. I think Tama's, I don't think we mentioned this very much, but Tama's face after seeing Holden like in full there was perfect.
Artistically, this chapter is super on point. There's nothing wrong with like how he did it or what's presented.
No, yeah, and I think just we haven't mentioned some of like the highlights. I just want to go through quick. Luffy using the Conqueror's Haki looks super cool with the little straw hanging out of his mouth. Seeing the town was fun, and the necessities such as liquor and all that was fun. And having gone to a sumo match for the first time kind of recently, I really appreciate it was really cool to see how that would look in the One Piece world. And I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit more of that before Wano is said and done. But this was a really cool way to interrupt that match. I like it. And I'm glad I learned the word chattel in law school, so I could understand the end of this chapter.
Yes, it does mean property, in case people didn't get that.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen, for the choice of words.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't get to say. I one of my favorite little unsung like subtle bits of humor was the panel where the flashback where Okiku is like very obvious understandably concerned with the status of the little girl who has passed out, and Urashima is back in the corner going like, oh hey, so like my band is gonna play a show tonight, and like that's great.
And I love that Urashima, he isn't like evil in the sense that a lot of people are in the One Piece world. He's just kind of corruptible is what we get here. Yeah.
That was something I wanted to point out, how the like little rat boy was the one who was kind of like coaxing him to be more vicious. And I wonder if that's not a symbol of what's going on across Wano entirely, even with the Shogun and Kaido.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be. Like, I mean, it is a little uncomfortable because there is the aspect of the slightly the corruptible Wano people of Wano and these outsiders with their foreign ideas. Although I think we're going to get a lot of that.
But I mean, that happens all the time. People, you just identify as like, well, that like Urashima probably is like a shit, but probably would have been a decent dude otherwise. But if you just keep saying like, hey, you should just take what you want because I mean, what she got to do against you and you blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah, there's people like that all over the place. Fuck them.
And we don't know if Kaido and his crew are not from Wano. We don't know like exactly.
No, I mean presumably Orochi is Wano.
Yeah, exactly.
The Shogun. He seems to be a pretty bad guy.
And the whole thing that the whole point we're gonna get to at the end is opening Wano's borders. So I assume that I don't think that's gonna be a theme Oda puts forth, like the beware of foreigners thing. I think it's gonna be quite the opposite. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it. Why don't we get into the next segment?
Okay.
This is the anime recap for episode 851, The Man with a Bounty of Billion, the strongest sweet general Katakuri. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have, once again, we have Ed.
Hi.
And joining us today we also have director for Rick and Morty and Teen Titans Go, Brian Newton.
Hello.
Did you work on the Teen Titans Go movie, Brian?
Technically not. I worked on the scene. I got cut out, so I'm not
Oh,
credited.
okay.
That's life.
I actually saw that this weekend.
Oh,
What'd you think?
I don't know what I was expecting. Wasn't expecting a 30-second fart joke. I guess I don't watch enough children's cartoons these days.
You don't.
But I like the action. It's very bright and very funny.
Yeah, I think they did an amazing job. That crew did with that movie, considering its time and limitation, the money they spent.
Yeah. Will Arnett was pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm.
the title card begins at 4 minutes and 5 seconds. It opens with some Luffy versus Katakuri in the mirror world, and Katakuri is talking about how he's kind of praising Luffy, saying even though it was reckless, there aren't that many people who have caused this much damage to the Big Mom pirates. But in terms of ability, you and I are on completely different levels. So it's just Katakuri dodging all of Luffy's attacks, and he even counters a jet pistol. Their fists just collide. I like how a cool thing about this fight, and a thing that I don't think the manga really could have done, is you get to see a lot of the fight happening like through the mirrors.
Yes, that was actually an interesting choice that they made.
Yeah, I assume we're going to see that a lot, but I think it's a cool idea.
I would hope so. It's a cool like motif to kind of deal with the like implications of the battle. Also with like shattering glass and all that stuff.
Yeah. At this point, they're basically just flying through the air like DBZ characters, and they're using a shave, so they're going zipping around.
Pissed me off. Yeah, I specifically don't like it when characters, especially in One Piece, who can't fly and who don't fly are like literally like floating through space.
I just imagine it's like they're falling in slow motion, because there's that kind of selective slow motion that you kind of have to assume with any long running shonen.
Most times when they do that, it's okay. But there is literally a sequence when Luffy's like flying up towards Katakuri, and then literally changes directions in midair. And we're not talking about like Gear 4 Luffy, where he's using his legs to propel himself.
Well, I mean, there's also all those weird pillars all over the mirror world.
So, if he sprung off a pillar, I'm like, that's cool because that's physical and tactile. But literally changing directions midair, it's like you don't have the sky dance, Goku.
Speaking of those pillars, we get to see Luffy smashing one up with the Hawk Axe, but Katakuri continues to just dodge everything. He can dodge forever, apparently, according to Katakuri. So
What was really cool about these sequences that they added was that Luffy using some strategy in order to like misdirect and like confuse Katakuri so he could hit him.
Yeah. There were some new Gum moves that I'm not sure if we've seen before. There's stuff like the red or the Hawk Axe or like Eagle Bazooka or whatever. I don't know what I have not been keeping up with like his post time skip attack names. So I don't know what's new and what's not.
I don't know. It feels like combinations of stuff he's already done. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I probably couldn't tell you any of the Luffy's move names since the time skip.
Yeah, I think
you're right.
Hawk Axe might be new.
He's just adding bird names on front of his regular attacks now.
Actually, no, that's not true. I remember that Red Hawk was the move he used on Horty. But that was about it.
But he's never done the Hawk Axe, which is literally the kick version.
Yeah.
And there's a Hawk bazooka and Hawk rifle and stuff too.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Just like anything that I guess does fire too for some reason.
Yeah, I never really understood that one.
So we come back to the crew on the Thousand Sunny and the storm. They've settled. They've landed from the coup de burst, and now a storm cloud is coming and starting to rain.
So the next 10 minutes of the anime.
Yeah, this is where it drags the most, I think.
Well, that's the thing, though. I didn't get sick of this. I enjoyed this the whole way through. Normally, I wouldn't. And it came really close to overstaying its welcome, but then it sort of brought the genuine emotion back and didn't just feel drawn out. So I enjoyed it, and it's a good thing because it was like half the episode today.
Yeah, it's the sequence where Nami is telling Brooke and Chopper about Pedro, and it's a cool stylistic choice for them to kind of show the flashbacks of Pedro in the raindrops that are like happening in slow motion.
Right, and they escalate the rain. Actually, the amount of rain keeps getting heavier until the end of the thing.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
And although that was the point where it almost was like they have to either they have to start talking at some point, or they have to not talk for a longer period of time. They just went, let's just keep silence for a longer period of time, and that's how we'll make it work. Because there was a no man's zone where I was getting like, well, it worked out though.
Yeah, it's like there's a delicate balance between an emotional push, letting like an idea resonate before just cutting into a dialogue or a joke. Because like the other thing they did, which was smart, they cut around to seeing the parts of the story in Pedro's life that they didn't know. For example, all the deeds he did, helping them escape Big Mom. Like the last time they saw Pedro, they were all at the wedding. So it's like there was literally Nami feeling Chopper and Brooke in on the gaps.
Yeah. Brooke falls to his knees, and he's like even burying his face in a puddle for some reason.
See, this is the part that won me back. The part with Brooke was the part that won me back.
Yeah, once it's like actual content instead of just flashbacks.
Well, I mean, I honestly did enjoy the artistic choice of the silence, because I'm always pro silence in anime because it doesn't happen a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
To make a point, it's a good thing to do because they actually don't do it very often. Yeah.
And he's crying. He thinks he was too weak to save Pedro. It's his fault that he didn't defend the Sunny well enough. And everyone's kind of dealing with it in their own way. Jinbei is the one who's stepping up and saying, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's remember how much we've accomplished so far and how much more we have to do, and let's listen to what Pedro would want us to do, which is to keep moving. And you get the Strong World track, where it's like the kind of the xylophone sounding thing.
Right. Well, and there was some other music I felt was I think from like Eni's Lobby era that they reused at a pivotal scene in this episode, which sort of made sense to me.
So yeah, they perk up. Jinbei's pep talk seems to have worked, and they're getting back on track. Nami's pulling out a map from her dress, and they're making
That's
a plan.
Being generous. There isn't much dress there, Sam.
Well, she pulls it out of like where her cleavage would be if this was a like cleavage having dress.
If this was a normal piece of clothing.
It's a normal cocktail dress.
Yeah, she just like digs in on the side and pulls out a map.
I guess.
Oh, and there was also a shot where the rain is wet on the Thousand Sunny's face, so it looks like it's crying too over Pedro, kind of like the Mary back in Water 7.
Mm-hmm. I think that might have been the scene. That's what was bringing me back to that.
Yeah, so they still got a fight ahead of them because Big Mom is approaching. There's a fleet of ships, and Big Mom is somehow walking on water. Turns out Perro Sparrow is with her, and he's making this candy slug under her feet. I wish they could have emphasized the way that the candy slug moves, where in the manga it's kind of clear that it's kind of rolling itself forward so that Big Mom keeps having room to walk, which they couldn't really animate.
That's setting an expensive precedent to animate that.
But yeah, so Perro Sparrow we get a little sequence where he's creating a new arm for himself. He's like, oh, this isn't so bad, but whenever I have hot tea, my hand's going to melt, and I'm going to be mad about that.
That's so Venture Brothers.
Yeah, Perro Sparrow actually does kind of feel like a Venture Brothers character more than anyone. It's the mighty Sparrow.
The people, the pirates in One Piece are far too competent.
That's true.
Most of the time.
Most of them.
Most of the time.
Yeah, so he's planning to torture Pedro's friends in particular because he's miffed about his missing arm. That brings us to the eye catch of the episode. When we come back, we get a little sequence where Zeus and Prometheus are left on the shore, stuck behind, and they're just like, "Oh, I would love it if I could eat some fire and get strong again, or I wish I could eat some lightning again." And that connects us to, we see Sanji, Pudding, and Chiffon flying off in the distance. I love this sequence where Pudding has wrapped herself up in like the front roll of the carpet because she doesn't want to be seen in a wedding dress next to Sanji because they might think that they're married, and she doesn't elaborate on who they are.
All these people who are watching, again, this comedy works for me. I really like her just sort of hiding in there. It's like, and also, but they nailed the joke at the end with doing the Sanji-san. They did the perfect sort of inflection.
Yeah, I remember this is when I remember in the manga, this is where I was like, oh man, they're really like they're pushing the tsundere thing in a like just hard enough that it kind of becomes something new. And I find like her insistence on like, you know, like not sitting next to Sanji and like trying to do things her own way, even though she's clearly flustered. Like I find that so endearing. And this is also when we get the story about how Lola was the minister of chocolate on Cacao Island, and in her absence, the people would love if Pudding was the one to take that role, but she has refused it because she's waiting for Lola to come back, basically.
It's so sad.
Yeah, I wish that's something I hope the manga elaborates on sooner than later.
You mean why Lola left?
Well, there's clearly like a character arc in the works between like Pudding is waiting for her big sister to come back, you know, and that's just sort of like an empty arc right now.
Right, and there's also like the Luffy's connection with Katakuri. So, I mean, not to spoil anything, but they face off one-on-one as we see in this episode.
Yeah, and as they're flying off to Cacao Island, that connects us to a little rowboat in the middle of the ocean. Pound is heading in the opposite direction, but he looks up and he's like, "Is that my daughter Chiffon? I haven't seen her in forever." And he's like calling out to them, but they don't hear him because he's too far away already.
Yeah, it's almost like just reminds me of like 22 short films about Springfield. Just zoom up to the sky and change characters that we're focused on.
Do you like the way I look in my rowboat?
The extremely wide man.
So yeah, we come back to Luffy versus Katakuri some more. It's all of the same stuff zipping around. Katakuri is basically imitating Luffy's Gatling, except instead of like an illusion of lots of arms, he actually just makes lots of arms. So it's just more of that anything you can do, I can do better, which the subtitles actually say.
I love the optics of him being like, okay, so what if you actually had all those arms that you were pretending to have? It's like, yeah, I could do that. I could do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Katakuri is laying the beat down. I really enjoy how Luffy versus Katakuri is animated in this episode. Like, especially because I'm sure when the production values bottom out, we're going to see some real jankiness. But for the time being, I feel like they're really. I think the animation staff have a really solid grasp on how this fight is supposed to look in motion.
Yeah, I hope they continue.
So far, so good.
Especially with how
I haven't been super wowed by this fight so far, but this is only stage one that we know.
Yeah, especially with like the size difference between the two. Like you could so easily like not make that look good.
There's one moment where like Katakuri sneaks up behind Luffy and whispers in his ear.
Yeah, that's
you would have to
like
be on
earlier
his
in the
knees.
episode. Yeah.
In fact, he'd have to be lower than his knees.
Slithering in like a snake.
Snake. Well, he could do that. Oh, we find
Mochi.
out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ending of the episode is Katakuri. He uses his observation haki to see that Luffy's about to use a special attack, and that's Luffy biting his thumb and getting ready to use his gear third. And that's the to be continued card of the episode. Any general thoughts, you guys?
I mean, this kind of suffered from pacing problems a little bit, but as I mentioned before, it kept its emotional resonance, so I didn't get too annoyed by it. And Luffy versus Katakuri, it's new at this point, and they're still feeling each other out, and that's interesting to watch. And Sanji putting comedy, it was an interesting sideshow.
Yeah, I thought, like I was on for the last episode, I thought the actual animation production was better on the previous episode, and this one kind of took a dip in quality. But there were sequences in this fight, which, if we all remember from the manga, this is the specific sequence that had that weird, like, Katakuri kick, where, like, Katakuri was predicting where Luffy was going to be and had to do, like, a switch kick. And now we actually got to see that detailed out.
Mm-hmm.
So elements like that, and they had to add more time to that fight as well. So because getting to detail out more fighting, and the like you mentioned earlier, Sam, about how they use the mirrors to kind of like infer other parts of the battle, like where characters are, and like using that as tense and emotional parts, kind of like emotional flair for the fight. I hope we see a lot more of those ideas going forward with this fight, because we definitely have a lot of time with it.
Yeah, we do.
That's the main thing. Like, I really enjoyed this episode quite a lot. I think it is held down by the knowledge that this is like one episode out of like 20 episodes that are going to come.
I don't even know
20,
how to.
20 if we're lucky.
Yeah, I don't even know how to like guesstimate that at this point.
Yeah, considering that this episode doesn't end where the chapter for this episode ended, they're already good drawing it out.
Yeah, that's always my problem, is when they have to like create a new cliffhanger that comes just before the manga's cliffhanger, and it's never like a good spot to end an episode, really.
Yeah, and you can even tell by the preview of this episode, they're going to treat the next episode like Goku versus Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga, when it's the Gaiac Ho versus Kamehameha. It's like this intense like push-pull battle with like fire beams.
I enjoyed this episode quite a lot. I think that I'm really excited to see more of Luffy versus Katakuri, because I mean, like, I'm a big fan of this fight, but I think that seeing it especially with the colors, like, not only is the mirror world like very kind of purple-ish, but like you've got Luffy's red jacket and you've got Katakuri's kind of plum hair. So there's definitely like a kind of a reddish, purplish theming going on in this space. And I also like the sound design. Like there's this, the mirror world has that very specific ambiance. And so we're going to get real used to that, I suppose.
Yeah, all those animators have to draw checkerboards.
Yeah, that too. So I'm interested in the ways in which this fight can be improved and elaborated on in the anime, even if it's obviously going to also suffer from pacing. I can easily imagine this being a trade-off situation where some parts of it are better in the anime while the manga still gets to be faster.
Oh yeah, for sure,
absolutely.
The Pedro flashbacks were the slowest part for me, just because I think that the more you dwell, especially since there's such an emphasis on the urgency, like we've got to keep moving and not dwell too much on something. And the more that they dwell on Pedro, the worse it's going to come off if and when Pedro eventually comes back into the story.
Did you look? Don't say that. Don't. Did you look at how much like manga material that actually was for like that 10-minute stretch?
It was like 3 pages.
Yeah, it's not 4. A lot.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I actually felt like it moved on too fast in the manga, so I like this.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Ed. But I expected this. If they had just glossed over this moment,
it's the anime,
characters, I'm like, what? Yeah, like what the hell?
There's room for expansion.
Yeah, I liked the conversation between the crew. I just didn't need that much space killed by the flashbacks.
Yes.
I think that's my general thought. I think the last 4 or so episodes have been really. I've really liked the art quality. Like I like just like looking at. I enjoy letting my eye explore the frame, because I think the details in the characters' models and their faces and stuff is interesting, and that's not often how I feel. But we're like 4 episodes in a row where I think everything is
Where
nice and
it's not-
polished and on model and everything.
Not hard
Yeah.
to watch. Which it
Yeah,
can
no.
be. It can be sometimes.
Yeah, I thought the previous 2 episodes were really well done as far as artistic quality.
I think that should just about do it. Anything else you guys want to say?
No, let's move on to the next segment.
Mhm.
All right, let's go.
Okay, Ed, you there?
Yeah.
Steve, you there? Okay.
Hello.
Now, both of you enter the ring, put both of your hands onto the clay mat, and get ready for some piece together. You ready? 2 men
Okay.
enter.
I find that very offensive. Are you going to finish that pretzel?
Let's go through your questions, comments, and theories in our piece together segment here. Let's start with Ed. Why don't I let you say it?
This piece.
This piece, which now you could automatically join for those, I believe it's $5 and up on our Patreon page at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. It's now easy and streamlined. And we have one this week from Abdul, who said, I was hoping the crew who was in Wano would be in Bakura Town and we'd get to see them, but it's still too early to tell. Hilarious chapter today, and Luffy casually knocking citizens out with hockey was great. I also want to say thanks for sending over the RSS feed for patrons so I could sync it up with Apple Podcasts. It's a huge help. Looking forward to today's podcast. So thank you, Abdul. And I don't know why I didn't do that earlier, other than me not seeing that it was there.
Actually, I think I first had that on I think the Talking Simpsons one was the first Patreon RSS feed that I had. It's very convenient.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, let's go to... We don't have a ton of emails either, so this should be pretty quick here. This one comes from Ryan, who says, I've been thinking about making this list for a while, and now it came back to me when Luffy and Zoro fought Hawkins, and someone made the heart of the cards joke. I am not going to get this question, I just realized. I've been a big fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, and I made a list of decks that each of the Straw Hats would use if they played the game. Note, I have provided links in the description so that you could view the pages and learn why I chose them. Which I guess I could click, but you guys listening can't. And so he said he borrowed ideas from them T0 on Reddit for Luffy, Sanji, and Brook, but the rest he came up with. I'm going to mispronounce all of these, and you're going to tell me... Steve, you're the Yu-Gi-Oh! Resident Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert, right?
I thought it would be Sam, maybe, because
Sam?
he was a
My
kid.
knowledge stops
He was a
around
kid in
2005.
Well, I'm
That's good
I'm-
enough.
Well,
Good
that's
enough.
the thing. I'm trying to get into the game again, but just make a new deck, but keep it around like circa 2002 to 2005 era cards.
All right, well,
So
hear me mispronounce this.
maybe this fan could help me make a good Dark Magician deck.
Luffy, Giergia?
Yeah.
Giergia? One of those. Zoro, Six Samurai. Nami, Cloudian. Usopp, Magical Musket. Sanji, Fire King. Chopper, Best Warrior deck, maybe Fire Fist. Does this make sense? I don't know.
Which one of them is the Celtic Guardian?
None of them on this. I got Chronomaly for Robin, Ancient Gear for Frankie, Melodious for Brook, and Atlantean or Mermail for Jinbei. That sounds like a really bad Aquaman ripoff.
Why doesn't Jinbei have the legendary fisherman?
And Hawkins would be Arcana Force. Does that all make sense? I don't know.
What? Exodia, impossible. Sorry,
I think
I've-
Apis would have Blue Eyes White Dragon, right?
Or like his colored eyes, balding dragon.
So this,
Not a good design.
I feel bad, but this is my favorite piece together we've ever gotten. It's been almost a decade of our podcast, so that should say something. So this comes from Anissa. Why did Ace have to die? I find it very upsetting as he wasn't able to meet Sabo again.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Sad.
That's life sometimes.
Okay. I think we got one more here from Adesh. She said the main characters in One Piece all have individual dreams. Since you are all the main characters on the podcast, what are your seemingly impossible dreams that keep you moving forward? Or have you already reached your One Piece?
I'm just trying to pay bills and feed myself. That feels, and it feels impossible. But
Steve, the thing this podcast has had is, I mean, I'll just back up. Most of the people on this podcast have accidentally or somehow managed to have found their dreams. Like Steve moved out to California and he's working in the profession that you always wanted to. Who else did this? Greg is now famous in Japan. Steven is the translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump, which I know was his dream from a young age. Don't correct me there, Steven.
And Zach and I have boring day jobs, but we have this podcast.
Yes, thank you, Ed.
Your dream was to continue doing the podcast for years.
I wasn't afraid of that. Yeah. Anyone else have?
I dream of working with all my friends and being a creative producer, and I'm doing most of that now.
I still want to make movies, so.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, Jose is doing like basically. His
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
too. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like who else, who's just not here, and it's hard.
my dream is to have a family.
Wow. that guy.
Jason
All
retired.
right, get out of here, white beard.
Good. Someone got it.
Okay. Why don't we move on to Reddit?
All right.
We're just gonna ignore what Steven said.
Yep.
What did Steven
iDash.
say? Go ahead.
You can go back and listen. iDash said, do you think we ever got to see Kuma at his peak? I don't know why, but it feels like we never got to see him stretch his legs. I feel like this is something left up to imagination, but if the Straw Hats encountered Kuma again with his mind intact, could he still send them flying?
See, that's not fair. He has very, very tiny legs. So
Yeah, I was gonna
he
say.
stretch them all the time.
I mean, I guess so, since he was never a full antagonist in the arc. I mean,
he's called the
warlords
tyrant.
are,
Yeah.
yeah, but the warlords themselves, they came and went, and he did not end up being, a full bag. So I don't think we'll ever see him as a true. I mean, that's kind of how you.
But he's also very critical to the larger story of One Piece, specifically how it connects to the world government and the revolutionary. So
I mean, he
yeah,
also
if
seems to
that's
be
what they mean.
particularly known for his kindness. Really, he does good things for people.
Separating the Straw Hats ended up being a huge kindness.
Exactly. And wasn't he also the one who helped save? I guess he was there when Saba was
He
rescued
guarded
too.
the ship, right?
He guarded the ship, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And I think he was there when Saba was rescued.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. He was on the ship with Ivakov and Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll see him, being more of a badass than we already have, maybe. Unless
Kind
he
of
has
a
some really
tragic
awesome.
figure.
Yeah, for sure. Bortolomeo says, so glad to see Chopper is finally going to receive an upgrade. Thanks to Urashima, he's going to get promoted from emergency ration to main course. Also, in addition to the story of Momotaro, I think Otama's power may also be inspired by Kobutori Ji-san's tale, where an old man with a lump on his right cheek performs a dance for some Tengu, who then remove his lump. So there you go. That was old-fashioned Japanese cancer treatment for you.
Yeah, that's Japanese GoFundMe.
All right, so there you go. Look up that story if you're interested. Kobutori Ji-san. The Admiral Peaches said, an interesting thought occurred to me recently about Alabasta. The only people of the Nefertari royal family we've seen are Cobra and Vivi. If Vivi is quote-unquote erased from history by Imu and Cobra dies soon, as he's looking fairly sickly, or is killed as well, since they are both in Mary Joie. I was about to say Mary Goisy. New Goisy.
Boise, New Jersey.
Then Alabasta will have no royal family. Could this be Imu's plan all along to punish the Nefertari family for never leaving and coming to Mary Joie? As a side note, a big theme of the Alabasta arc was that a kingdom is not its royal family, but its people. How would this come into play should the royal family be gone?
Well, isn't Alabasta also hold the key to finding the Pluton, the big weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Possibly.
concerning.
Could
I
be
mean,
a
I think
play for that as well.
buried now.
Well,
Oh yeah, isn't
Yeah,
that the
the
one he
tomb
blew
is,
up?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one he.
the
burned
poneglyph
up.
isn't destroyed. I mean, they don't get destroyed.
No. The
Yeah.
plans to the Pluton, wasn't that what Frankie was holding?
No. The poneglyph in Alabasta.
No,
Yeah,
but
but
the
the poneglyph-
poneglyph told where the plans were, and
Oh.
the plans
Yeah, you're
that
right.
Frankie
Poneglyph
had.
says where the poneglyph says where Pluton
Or-
is. The
yes.
blueprints are like a spare in case they
yeah.
need to build another one to
That's
counteract
right.
the first one.
Always got to
Yeah,
build
yeah.
another Pluton.
Yeah,
Why
well, now
build
you
one
can't,
when you can? Yeah, why build one when you can build two for twice the price?
Why?
unless he's already built it.
Why give a man a fish when you could teach a man how to blow up an entire planet? Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different, I think, angles that you could take to Emu. You know, having an eye on Vivi. I guess I mean, it could be the whole celestial dragon angle, like being kind of the outliers. That is possible, although it also kind of seems like this is the time that you choose to do that after 800 years or whatever, however long it's been.
Well, it's not this is also not the Nefertari family's first visit to the Reverie as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, why now? I guess it would be the Straw Hat. The connection to the Straw Hats might be significant.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different answers to that. I think it's interesting that we don't know at all which of them it could be. Mr. Fiendish points out, and actually I got some other people. I saw other comments as well, but we were talking about the card theme for Kaido's pirates, and there not being a 10, but there is DS Drake, X Drake. X is 10.
Yep, that's a good
It's true.
call.
We did not think of that while we were recording last week's episode, but that's very true. Prince of Assassins says, I don't know how aware of this you guys are, but there are a lot of people who think Okiku is a man in disguise or an Okama based on how the scanlations included a translation note. Okiku uses the term Sesha to introduce herself, which is only used by male samurai. Mixed with the height and appearing less curvy than most of Oda's females, a lot of people are thinking Okiku is a man. Do you think they're off base since it wasn't even raised as a possibility last chapter? I feel like Oda is a lot less ambiguous with gender than someone like Togashi and doesn't misdirect like this. Plus, the theme he seems to be setting up is badass woman who makes the old-timey folks sweat with how she breaks tradition. Wanted to know how everyone thinks, but especially Steven. Well, first of all, they said male samurai. There weren't any female samurai as far as I know. So that may be kind of I guess putting the idea in people's heads. It did occur to me when I was translating the Sesha chapter, where I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure, but he also uses, and people say, the word musume, which means daughter or young lady, as she's the young lady who works at the tea house, like the waitress there. And so while Japanese doesn't really have as many kind of direct, like gendered third person terms like he or she, they do exist, but you don't have to use them all the time. It's not it's not like 100% sure, but it does seem like I would say that like there's maybe a 10 or 20% chance that he could be planning some kind of a turnaround, but it doesn't really seem like that's what he's going for. And I agree that with Prince of Assassins when he says that Oda is a lot less ambiguous. He doesn't seem to play around with that trope a lot of like, oh, it's actually like he's pretty open about when characters are kind of toying around with genders and whatnot. So
well, this reminds me of the that one crewmate for Whitebeard, who for longest time we thought was a female crew member, but it turned out just being a man who happened to be a little more effeminate in it's also kind of Wano or samurai attire, and that reveal wouldn't be something I'd be like, oh, okay, but only for my like lady warrior representation. I'd rather keep Okiku as a woman, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as like the curves that they brought up, I think that's just how Oda draws women in kimonos. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't. I think he downplays the boobs.
Well, I mean, that's just gravity.
Yeah, I mean the kimono is naturally very
it's wrapped tightly.
Yeah, I think you guys said like last week or the last podcast how like the way Okiku's design is more like Otohime, which is like this very slender, kind of tall or narrow thing, as opposed to curvaceous hourglass figures we normally get.
Who also wore a kimono, so
yes.
Yeah. One Up Needed says, I'm only asking this because I know someone can answer here. I've almost finished my collection of the English volumes, and I'm trying to get my hands on the Japanese versions. Outside of importing them, do you know any locations in New York City that sell the Japanese volumes? I'm also looking for the One Piece. I'm also looking for the One Piece Color Walk Compendium. Do you know anywhere in the city where I could get one? Oh, well, that's just any bookstore.
Yeah.
Also, very important question. If the supernovas were to represent real-life companies, which companies would they be the spokesperson for? So I guess, Zach, first of all.
Yeah, I'll go quickly. So New York City, the lowest price place to buy it is Book Off. It's off the Rockefeller Center subway stop on 46th and between 5th and 6th, Steve, is that right?
Yes.
And then Kinokuniya is right outside of the Times Square subway stop and the Bryant Park subway stop, either on the F line, the
7.
The 7 is closed. The 7's closed. The N, QRW, they're all there. I would highly recommend Kino. They have the best selection. They're all new there, and if you are looking for the latest volumes, that's the place to go. If you want any of the Japanese books at all, they will be.
Yeah, and if you want like the guidebooks or the Japanese art books or like the data files
or any of those weird books you've never. Book Off will have the older ones. Kino will have the newer ones.
Like Kino had like Sanji's cookbook that came out last year. They had all 3 One Piece magazines. So those might still be in stock too.
And if you want takoyaki, there's a great place near St. Mark's that has that. Yeah, I think that'll. And as Steve said, Compendium you could get anywhere, and Kino is probably not the cheapest place to get it.
Absolutely not.
Amazon would be my first recommendation. Right Stuff actually would probably be up there too.
Right Stuff
Barnes
would
and
protect.
Noble. Yeah.
Right Stuff protects your books when they ship them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if the supernovas were to represent real life companies, which companies would they be the spokesperson for? I mean, I guess that's just like doing advertisements, like I'm a PC, I'm a Mac.
Hey, like Bonnie for Papa John's, they need a new face.
Oh, Bonnie could do better.
Yeah.
Luffy would just be like Boar's Head or something. I'm trying to think of a meat company, or a steakhouse.
Laws like Abercrombie.
Scratchman's Guitar Center.
These are good choices.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh
man.
Rouge.
Oh God. Some sort of horror movie company.
I was gonna say
movie. I figured it'd be like religion, a religious
fundamentalist. Oh God. Oh, he'd be Hare Krishna.
No, he'd be one of those black Israelites who harasses people down in Chinatown in DC.
No, Invisalign braces.
What?
Yeah,
I get it.
Smile.
Yeah. He's always smiling.
Drake would be a spokesperson for Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Yeah.
Gang would be TurboTax because you don't want the IRS coming for you.
That's amazing. Or he would be the president. Or he would be the president of the United States because you don't let flippers.
Hey, I don't like flippers.
No.
Nobody flips them.
Or White Castle because he's a honky.
Wow. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, you want to get bizarre? Let's figure out what killer's gonna.
Oh God. A noodle company.
Pasta,
I was gonna say instant noodles.
Instant noodles. Oh, he would be Cup of Noodle. 100%.
He could be the Sling Blade in the movie Sling Blade.
What about Kid?
He would totally host like 2020 or something.
No, he'd own a chain of Hot Topics.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Better
Yep.
answer. Yeah.
All right. Lame for Fame has a question. I watched the most recent episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and was thinking, why does that one guy sound so familiar? the whole time before blurting out, "Holy shit, it's Steve." When I read the description, I wish there was a long-running abridged version of One Piece of similar quality.
Oh, no, you don't.
That takes me back. The only lost episode of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to talk about that.
That was lost before Zach got his laptop stolen.
Yeah, that legitimately does not
deliberately
exist.
placed in the garbage.
Yeah, that does not exist anywhere.
I wonder if whoever stole that laptop listened to that lost episode was just, ugh.
I think I threw that.
Long
No,
gone by then.
Zach just stopped recording halfway through, just like let him talk.
my laptop got stolen in like 2012, and I think that was recorded in 2010. So that was probably even a different computer. I probably
2000. I think that was fall 2009.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
It would have been in season 1. Even back then, we had the sense not to broadcast it.
I still don't know the difference between East Blue Studios and Little East Blue.
Listen to our very first episodes if you're interested in this conversation, which I assure you is not interesting. I mean, One Piece I don't think needs an abridged series, because I think a good part about abridged series, are that it's for series that are known to kind of take themselves too seriously sometimes. Like, I feel like Dragon Ball Super would not lend itself.
And that they
well
also
to
have a memeable sort of English dub that people, I guess One Piece doesn't really have those sort of.
Well,
the
4Kids
stuff.
but-
Yeah, the 4Kids stuff.
Yeah, you'd have to.
4Kids did it itself. You don't need.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't need it. Yeah.
Like, just look at the chapter we just did a manga recap of today. How would you go about making fun of that? It already makes fun of itself, like on every page. Like, oh, wouldn't it be funny to make fun of this guy with a lion on his belly? No, because Oda did that. Oda had the lion punch himself in the balls, and it's his balls too. So then both hurt.
Yeah, like
Stop that.
Oda goes right up to the line of having Luffy and Zoro just, crack open beers at the end of the chapter, like, party.
I do want to congratulate you for being on Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. I know you're good friends with him, right?
Don't need to. Yeah, it was
long time
it was
coming
cool.
then.
Was it? I don't know. We're
acting work before you did a bridge shows.
That's true, actually.
so it's only downhill from here.
You go from Dr. Fishbone to random Navy guy, and
it's funny because it's basically the same voice too.
Hey,
it was just
don't sell yourself short, Steve. You've got a whole range of voices.
I do. Just ask Brian. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you for writing in about it.
All right. Lunar Sugar says, "Hey, OPP, love listening to the show. You guys are incredible!" Exclamation point. Law stated back in Punk Hazard that in the New World, you either fall in with an emperor or you actively fight them. Thus far, we have only seen some of these supernovas and other existing pirates we know, like Doflamingo, ally with either Big Mom or Kaido. Kuzan is supposed to be connected to Blackbeard, but do you guys foresee any other familiar faces allied under either Shanks or Blackbeard? Keep up the great work.
Shanks is a good question. We haven't seen anyone with him.
Yeah.
Buggy. Don't forget about Buggy.
Well, Buggy's a warlord.
He's not gonna lie with Shanks.
Yeah, he doesn't need to ally with anyone. He's a warlord.
I don't know. I mean, his men keep getting poached. His giants, at least.
I mean, I think if anything, Buggy will end up as a new emperor at some point.
Yeah, he'll be the sixth emperor.
Which of the supernovas have we not seen? I think we've seen all of them. Besides,
we've seen them all, but like the ones who aren't aligned are, as far as we know, Bonnie and Uruj.
Yeah,
and Uruj we know he is fighting emperors. He fought with Big Mom,
right?
Or
and
he fought Snack.
Yeah, he fought against Big Mom and lost. And then Kid, same thing. He fought against Kaido and lost. So they're not aligned.
I could see Uruj being with Shanks. I mean, he's such a popular guy, and he's the sponsor of Invisalign. So it's.
All right. King Dragon Samurai says, "I was wondering if you guys have noticed after the crew has gotten split up, the Zoro versus Sanji faction of One Piece fans has gotten a bit more toxic. In general, across the internet, there's been a lot made of Sanji getting embarrassed on Whole Cake Island and Zoro coming back and looking amazing, while Sanji fans try to downplay Zoro for letting Tama get captured, bleeding from Hawkins' nails, etc. After each chapter, there's been a tendency to give W's or L's as some kind of competition after every chapter."
What kind of fandom is this?
It's really annoying.
It's really kind of annoying, but I only caught up near the end of Dressrosa, so has this been a thing much longer than I thought, or is this internet escalation rearing its ugly head?
I think this is
So
a newer
I think this is a newer phenomenon because I think even within the context of the series, the Sanji Zoro kind of like rivalry is a joke.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
It's so baffling to me that people are like this. Like,
And also, what? It's just like every fandom toxic these days, where One Piece fans like, hey, we're not toxic yet.
we can be toxicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
yeah, we could
imagine.
be.
I would imagine that having them separated and like kind of alternating arcs like this is probably fueling a lot of that because we're not seeing them side by side. And so it's like, oh, well, here's now it's our turn. Now it's this faction's turn. Now it's that faction's turn.
And also,
But I don't
Zoro is so goofy right now, and Sanji's had to be so serious for a long time at this point.
Yeah, because like a lot of people were saying like Wano's going to be Zoro's arc, and we've like proclaimed that in this podcast as well. But we don't think that like now it's Zoro's time to shine. It's
Yeah,
like
but
no,
the thing
it's-
is, I like
it's
Zoro
a-
more when he's goofy. I like Sanji a lot less when he's goofy.
Yes.
I disagree.
Hey, Goofer.
No, I like
where's the goof?
I like but like Goofy Sanji, I would personally, if he didn't have that side of him, I wouldn't care for him as a character.
Okay.
Sean.
Well, gosh, I practice Santoryu. Three sword style. Good.
It would have been great when that Pika fight when Olympus like chucks him through the air. You go, yeah.
I was about to say it's like that. It's like when Homer goes to space and when he's in the G-force training and his face turns into Popeye, like Zoro's turned into Goofy. At least like the lowest of low for Zoro is just he's aloof and he's just a little dumb. Like Sanji, his lowest is like, oh, let me see some titties.
Yeah, because he's a louse.
Lech. Zoro's
Yeah.
a louse.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. He's
Goof.
a lech and the other's a louse. It's like we need that because again, if Zoro didn't have that like bad at misdirection, just kind of like a generally sleepy macho asshole, I wouldn't like
Heavy
him
drinker.
either. Yeah, character flaws. They help keep people around it and relatable.
So we're saying Zoro's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
I mean,
Put
he
it down.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sanji's such a pervert.
I'm gonna get
at
another
least he's
drink
not a
right now.
Loser.
Actually, yeah.
Just smoke
I
a
think
lot.
Zoro and Nami, I think, are the heaviest drinkers in the crew.
Yeah.
Nami's got flaws too.
They
Some
could
stuff
both
got
hold
flaws, some
their
got
they could
flaws.
both hold their liquor pretty well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as what the commenter said, I realize this isn't necessarily like the most helpful advice or comment, but I mean, stuff like that is just basically why I don't bother with, like sort of the general semi-anonymous conversation about, the fan conversation about One Piece. It's a lot more fun, I think, for us to just sort of goof around on the podcast or on Twitter, just sort of telling jokes among friends where everybody has a level head and is not annoying about their particular their particular hills they want to die on, as far as the fandom stuff, because like that's like all that like rivalry stuff is just exhausting. It's like I don't know why you would willingly subject yourself to that.
Hey, Steven, who's better, Batman or Superman?
Well, Batman is
neither.
in One Piece. Superman is not.
Oh, but Superman is in Dragon Ball and Doctor Slump.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
you're right. Oof.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Who'd win in a
Okay,
fight?
so which
Goku or
what's
Superman?
better? Yeah, so what's better, One Piece or Toriyama?
So, yeah, what's better, Toriyama's Superman or
Yeah.
or Oda's Batman? Bat Dash Man. That's a fight I want to see.
Where's that? Yeah, where's that movie? Are both their names named Marthara or something?
Zack
Superman.
Snyder's not doing anything right now.
Superman versus or Batman, Bat Dash Man versus Superman, Dawn of Terrible. I had nothing.
Yeah, saved it there.
sorry.
Zach.
Yeah, that's me
All right.
killing jokes at the end. What's next?
Okay, Menzel STH says the Zoro Luffy combo is great. They really are, but I'm getting really anxious to see the rest of the crew already. The tidbit that we got earlier wasn't even close to being satisfying after almost 90 chapters that we didn't see them. Also, the plot seems to be barely advancing when you read it week to week, and since we know Oda has millions of things planned, I'm starting to get worried that it really will be 200 chapters long.
I'm gonna have to explain how things get divvied out over time to some people, because that's what happens when you're reading a series that is periodical, that things get divvied out over time, and then when you look at it after you've read everything, you're like, oh, I read a story.
I mean, I'd say it's moving at an okay pace. I mean, we've been in like 4 locales already in Curry.
And barely 6 chapters.
Yeah,
I'm prepared for there to be like in because episode of Skypia came out, and there's like a portion of that arc early on where the crew gets split up, and then like midway through they rejoin and they have a big party, and
it's right after Satori gets defeated, right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, let's not remember that part, but I would love a huge party in the middle.
Right.
Stop it.
Right.
Okay, yeah, what's next?
Yeah, I guess I would agree that I think by now I'm like, yeah, I think I could stand to see another crewmate enter the picture, but I guess we'll see what Oda has planned. All right, a couple more. Gladius Wing Zero says, after the Bellamy cover story, I was thinking about how Oda handled his character redemption as a whole and find his story to be one of my personal favorites. Therefore, I was thinking about other characters that could receive redemption arcs and returns to the story in the future. What characters would you like to see return to the story after their initial role in the story was seemingly fulfilled?
I want Oda to focus on wrapping stories up as opposed to bringing new stuff back, I think.
Or old stuff again.
Yeah, like I like the Bellamy thing because it's like, oh, he's got like a happy ending secured for him right now.
Well,
like if Oda didn't want to bring him back, he doesn't have to.
What's also interesting about the symbolism of Bellamy now dying flags is the whole him disrespecting Doflamingo's flag by knocking Dreams. So now he's like he's literally creating dreams for new and up and coming pirates or Marines or whoever wants to sail the seas.
That's really perfect, and I can't believe we didn't pick up on that before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we've been kind of numbed by Orlumbus's story, so it's.
Yeah, let's talk more about Orlumbus.
Bellamy's probably making his pirate flag right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Serpentscape says, we know that generally Oda doesn't kill off characters very often, but regarding Kaido, I'm seeing it as an inevitability since he's literally introduced as a man who cannot die. I think him being defeated in any way apart from death would just feel like a cop-out. What do you think? Also, I'm wondering if Luffy would be willing to do it if it is Luffy at all.
Maybe he'll realize that death isn't the answer.
Yeah, because wouldn't killing Kaido would be giving Kaido what he wants?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I've been watching the it's a very like niche little show called Yu Yu Hakusho, and they one of the characters can't die, so they just torture him for eternity, which is perfect for Kaido.
You mean Urameshi?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
What's next?
All right. This one comes from Dr. Phil's ghostwriter. Hold'em is Hold'em is the most tragic character in the series. Dude's love life was ruined the second he ate the fruit. Kind of difficult to have any romantic time with anyone with a sentient lion head positioned directly above your crotch. Plus, this guy can't even have any alone time because he's never alone, and the lion supposedly feels everything he does. So he has to live as chaste as a monk because he ate this terrible fruit. I wouldn't be surprised if he's always angry. Have any other One Piece quirks really freaked you out when you look at them in ways Oda probably didn't intend?
I'm sure that went through Oda's mind because he's Oda.
You can find somebody who's into that.
In Japan.
I mean, I guess we would be remiss in not pointing out
it's a lot of furries,
I think we would be remiss in not pointing out at every available opportunity the existential horror that is the jacket fruit.
It's my favorite fruit, by the way. It's one of my top fruits. Outside of just like bizarreness.
Think Kelly Funk ever tried pulling that on a date? Said, "Oh, you're cold. Would you like a jacket?"
I thought you were saying he was like posing as he's using his brother's body because his brother's like bigger.
That's too complex.
Is that the creepiest fruit? Like, if it existed in real life?
Wait, is Kelly Funk just catfishing? I'm not really this buff. I actually look like this.
I wish we got to see him use that fruit for other purposes outside just taking his buff brother, because like
it's my god,
bizarre.
Where's his cover?
God, you're a jacket?
A jacket?
All right, what's the last one here?
All right, last one and the best from Tongari Dan. Is Okiku going to be the beautiful female swordsman with meat that Usopp's lie has prophesied?
Oh, so the bark. She's amazing.
Yeah, she just needs the meat.
Yeah, I mean, Luffy already seems to like her a lot, so possible. Okay, let's Ed get into some.
Peace the tweet.
Yeah, what do we got this week, Ed?
Our piece to tweet this week. First one comes from Gustavo Eman1, who says, "What post-time skip characters reveals are you going to get in the 2019 movie? Since we had a bunch of Marines and Kuzan in Film Z and CP0 in Gold."
Well, with CP0, it was revealed like just before in the manga. So it might be something. I feel like maybe something with the Reverie or related to the Reverie would be kind of cool in that movie. Yeah.
I think I would prefer, like, if Eneru were to come back, I think I would prefer it be like in a movie as opposed to in the manga.
Oof.
No.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
But
I like Eneru.
Why?
I mean, like, I like Eneru, just like he feels right as a one-off in the manga.
I want him to interact with everyone.
I think Zach and I are going to
Everyone.
that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Well, everyone
moon
just bounced
will
there.
come into the story. No,
Yeah, literally land on the planet.
yeah. The whole moon
It's
comes
so hard to
crashing
call
down.
The
right
moon
now.
is the key.
I
No,
like
we
the
just-
idea.
We don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have no context of what this movie's going to be about. So it's
Plus,
kind of
like
hard.
most of the characters we've encountered pre-time skip, we've seen already. If not like interacting with the crew, then also with the like Decks of the World material. So,
What's
Will we
the
ever
next?
see the Don Krieg 3000?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
oh yes,
No.
there we go.
No.
Oh.
No. What's the
No.
next question?
Okay. The next one comes from Nura G123, who says, "Hey, OPP, what are your top 3 favorite One Piece video games? Ours are One Piece Unlimited Adventure for the Wii, Grand Battle Stadium Dawn for the PS2, and One Piece Unlimited World Red."
Then by ours, they mean theirs. It's confusing either way. That was...
Well,
Alex would be the best person really to answer this.
I have a list.
I mean, I got a list. It's not
I
going
have
to be
one.
good.
I have one
'Cause-
game I like.
Ryan,
I-
say yours.
well, don't just hold
Uh,
back on.
I like Grand Adventure because it's just Grand Battle with more characters, and I love the Pirate Warrior series, specifically the third one.
I
And
like
then,
Pirate Warriors 2. I felt like that one had, just because it was, I think the story, the original story mode, I think was cool, and
Yeah, that was cool.
and it really encouraged like playing like lots of different characters in a way that 3 didn't.
Yeah, because I think when 3 missed the opportunity that the second one had, when you can literally choose your crewmate.
Yeah.
And you can like, and when you do your power up, you're literally playing as that character. Yeah, I agree with that. And I wish the third one had that because there's so many great characters in the third game.
Yeah, and the difference in content between 1 and 2 versus 2 and 3, I think, is a lot bigger.
I like the content in 3, but I agree with you. Like 2 had better game mechanics.
I feel awful because I do own Unlimited World Red, and it's still sealed.
I didn't like it very much.
I've played.
I had to review it for ANN.
I've played the 4Kids adapted Grand Battle and Grand Adventure games.
Classics.
Well, those are the Grand Battle games are a lot of fun.
What I noticed about those Grand Battle games is that the translation is actually better than in the 4Kids versions.
Oh yeah,
like,
because you don't have, for the most part, you don't have people writing stupid puns and all
right.
that.
So I was like, man, I wish I could have watched that series.
Pirates Carnival is a shit game. So is the 4Kids version, but man, is that fun to play and just listen to the dialogue and listen to what could have been the 4Kids Skypiea voices.
That's right.
Unlimited Adventure is a very flawed and frustrated game, but at the time when Funimation picked up the license and they dubbed that game, it was so addicting because I just wanted to hear these 30-second cutscenes just to hear what these characters sounded like in the Funimation version.
Yeah, 80% of playing that game is just to hear the voice work, specifically Frankie, who we hadn't gotten a chance to hear
You
yet.
wouldn't hear again for years.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's funny going back and listening to audio clips from, because basically now you can just go on YouTube and just listen to every single cutscene. But
we used to interview Patrick a bunch, like before he actually during that very long break between that, and we'd be like, we just want you to be Frankie, and we'd have nothing else about One Piece to talk about.
We'd find things. But if you go back and listen to, because that's the first thing they recorded. That was before they started recording the Jaya episodes. So Usopp sounds very different.
I mean, I don't know how many people like remember that at this point or never heard it in the first place. But if you listen to the One Piece DVDs and the English dubs, that the Jaya episodes are the first ones chronologically that they did. And they were working on seasons 3 and 1 at the same time, but those Jaya episodes, I think, if you want to hear the earliest One Piece...
They went back to clean it up, I know, a bunch, but yeah.
Yeah, they recorded some lines, but not many. Yeah.
But so if you want to hear like what the Funimation voices sound like in the earliest form, it's actually season 3.
That was what, 8, almost 10 years ago?
That was more than 10.
That was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's actually
it was
like
07,
it'll
06.
be like 11 years ago, like at the end of September or beginning of October.
Ed, what's next?
The next question comes from Logic Wiz 12, who says, "What do you think this next part of the cover story arc is leading to?" I don't know. I think
this is it.
I don't think Bellamy's gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna make it, guys.
I'm fine with that. Like his story's over, really. Like,
no, I think he's I think he's done. He's done for.
Die, Bellamy, die.
Okay, what's next?
The Bellamy. The.
Metor says, "Is there anything of One Piece you guys find disappointing? For me, it would have to be ship battles. Oda has told us a bit about the different weapons and abilities the Sunny has, but has never given us the chance to fully see it in action."
I think we're going to get that
Whole Cake
more.
Island was pretty good about that.
And Whole Cake Island was good about that. And, even Oda realized, hey, I'm not doing this enough. He mentioned in one of his magazine interviews, I think.
I think he... Sorry, Steve.
He admitted that that was he felt like that was a bit of a weakness or something. Like, yeah, it's really hard to show because you just need more panels to actually make it understandable as opposed to bodies in motion. So
yeah, because ships don't have personalities. They're kind of like, well, most ships don't have personalities.
Sunny does.
Yeah. But I think the final battle for One Piece will have an epic ship battle. I can foresee that.
I'd hope so.
Okay. Next one comes from Stacy Chen, who says, "So it seems like we witnessed Okiku ending Urashima's career with one swift cut. Snip, snip. Moreover, if you guys could Wanoify your names, what would you call yourselves?"
Oh, God.
Wait. What's the
Japaneseify our names?
Oh, okay.
Ed's just Edo.
You asked if I was speaking to you or Steven, and I say yes.
It's both, yeah.
Steven Osuke, you said?
All right. Ready for the next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Krakajaku says, "I think the Kuja pirates will show up in Wano. There's no way Hancock would let Luffy face 2 emperors without helping him. Plus, the other Boa sisters have snake Zoan powers, and Sonya even has her Yamata no Orochi attack. I forgot about that. Rayleigh could lead them there with the Beaver card."
Seems a little excessive.
Yeah.
I don't see any justification for that.
Yeah.
We do a fan story about it.
Cool. I don't know. People like Hancock.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next one comes from It's Aura, who says,
she's here.
A question from It's Aura, who says, "Hey, OPP, if a Zoan user turns into an animal, can they impregnate the species of the animal they turn into?"
God.
Yes.
And if
Next question.
Finish it. Finish it.
All right. And if they are female, can they get pregnant by the animal species they turn into?
I'm still trying to figure out how mermaids work.
Well, I lay my eggs and you come in later.
But the mermen don't work.
Why couldn't they have the fish part on the top and the human part on the bottom?
Got to educate Sam on how fish lay eggs.
But the men and women work different in One Piece. It's like
the birds and the bees of fish.
I'll write that down.
So this is basically like if every One Piece character was Zeus, god of thunder, ruler of Mount Olympus.
Yeah, it turns into like a mule or a donkey.
I'm gonna go down there and have sex with that reindeer today.
But as a donkey, remember, he would transform into animals and have sex with women.
Wait.
God, how horny were those women?
Donkey?
Greek myths are fucked.
Yeah, I would not.
It was very
recommend
it was a very convincing swan and probably a stag.
Wait, Steven, you assume
what's
that
Ed?
it's consensual? I don't think
Well,
so.
that's how the Minotaur came to be too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they have lots of half people, half animal monsters. And
Who had sex with what and gave birth to which? We'll never
Thank
know.
you. I was going to quote that, but yeah, there you go.
Okay, Ghost Starch says, since Smile users only have partial transformations, could they also have partial weakness to being submerged? Maybe they can still swim, but it takes way more effort than a normal person since the water drains some of their energy.
Well, we don't even know if the Smile has the devil fruit weaknesses.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that would be a pretty good gag answer.
Yeah.
They just get kind of lethargic.
Yeah. Or he does the equivalent of the Gazelle Man scene, but it's somebody trying to swim and just pathetically doggy paddling at super slow speeds.
Right. Yin Tab F says, does anyone else want to see a sumo match between human Jinbei and real Jinbei?
Yes, please.
Yes.
That would be a dramatic entrance.
I just want Jinbei to show up at Wano and be like, oh, the next competitor is here. Where have you been? Here, get in your big diaper.
Urashima's quite a bit larger than Jinbei, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jinbei still, I'm not saying they're mistaking him for Urashima. It's just that he's another sumo wrestler.
It's like, have you been holding your breath or something? Why are you that color?
Actually, it would be amazing for Jinbei to become the new Yokozuna.
Jinbei, you're turning violet.
What's next?
One Piece Haiku says, this is probably too silly, but what if Urashima is still a villain later on in the arc, mistakes Chopper for a Tanuki and tries to eat him?
He will get beaten up by Chopper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, Urashima versus Chopper would be a good fight.
I want Chopper to be the new Yokozuna.
Oh man, I like that because they're definitely saying something up there.
Yeah, I agree. And I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Chopper? Is he with Sanji and Carrot?
Who knows?
The next one comes from Sniper of My Heart, who says, Okiku seems to have taken out human Jinbei, but now I kind of want Chopper to defend the honor of raccoons. I mean, reindeer everywhere. Do you think human Jinbei is down for the count now that his honor has been hurt?
No, he's still around. He's just gonna be extra mad now and vindictive.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next with the human Jinbei.
No, I think he'll be shamed, but I don't think he's not out of the story. I think he's going to try to get his revenge, like Sam said.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get his revenge or if he's going to do kind of a face turn. That's the turn,
I mean, this
right?
is going to lead into us learning more about what their class system is like.
She hit his glowing weak point, and now he's turning red and is going to attack twice as fast.
Are you saying she attacked his Hold'ems?
Yeah, figuratively, yes, she did. She chopped off his manhood.
Hey, Ed, I saw that you missed a question. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if we can answer it, but it's from Lime Lizard. He asked, of all the Disney villains from the Evil Queen to Count Frollo, which would you most want Luffy to punch in the face? And I'm just wondering if we could even answer this question, because don't most Disney villains get their comeuppance by the end of the movie? I mean,
yeah.
What's the thing about Clayton and Tarzan? The dude just
he gets lynched straight up.
Frollo doesn't Frollo
falls into a fire or something?
Yeah.
What about Ursula, the sea witch?
Or she gets stabbed in the stomach and dies.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gaston falls to his death. So does Scar.
Most of them die.
But Scar gets eaten by the hyenas.
That's right.
That's a really good comeuppance. Yeah.
I
Jafar?
don't know.
Did Jafar die?
I think Luffy should hold on. I think
lamp.
Luffy should punch all the white people in Pocahontas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Jafar gets turned into a genie and then stuck in a lamp, and then in Return of Jafar, I think they kill him.
Mm.
I want to see Luffy punch him.
Like Kingdom Hearts 2, and to find the answer to that.
All right, what's the next question, Ed?
All right, the next one comes from Michael Dreyer, who says, "Hi guys, lately I've been really into expanding my manga library, and I've been searching for those English Kanzenban editions. How likely is it for a huge series like One Piece to get a Kanzenban release, and after how many years after completion would it happen?" Several.
One Piece
Yeah.
is
Steven,
too
I feel
big.
like you would.
It's almost certain to get some kind of re-release afterward.
Yeah. With higher
But
quality paper and probably some color added as well.
yeah. That's the idea. But the thing
They already
is,
have the color editions digitally. Right?
yes, digitally, but that's not. I mean, that's like a studio that does that for him. The thing is, like the entire concept behind those is like, okay, this series came out a while ago. We're done with it. You know, it doesn't sell anymore, really. So let's put out this fancy new edition, get a bunch of people to buy this one additionally. So I could see a thing where it's like, okay, well, people are still buying, like it's still selling briskly 5 years after it's done or something. It could be like 10 years or something like that after the end of One Piece that they actually put out a perfect edition. So
I actually wonder if the used book market in Japan is such that these things get recirculated, and in order to juice up new sales after some point, they would release an edition like that.
So what you're saying is fans should stop buying the manga now, so they release the good version
No.
sooner.
It's
Then
not
it'll
going to
just
work either way.
yeah.
Yeah, you're just playing yourself.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
All right. Next one comes from QuipQuest. It's basically for the people who watched the Skypiea special, any of you. Is it just me, or was Satori significantly more tolerable in this recent special than he's ever been before?
No, I haven't watched it yet, and no.
No, Zach's wrong. It's just you. Satori's always amazing.
I even thought the location of the fight was more interesting.
I don't agree with
I do not agree with that second.
I've only seen screen caps, so I guess I'm kind of already somewhat spoiled. But where does the fight take place? Because obviously it doesn't take place
on the
in
beach instead of dealing with the. I'm sorry.
Maze?
Like
instead of the white
dealing with the
berets?
white berets. Yeah, instead of dealing with white berets, Satori just shows up right there.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's not in that dense forest, which was an amazing background. So I don't understand why that locale was not interesting, because
Yeah,
it was fascinating.
that's the only part I think I liked about that fight.
Yeah,
Is
so
the
now he's
lowdown.
going to be even less. He's going to be more obnoxious for you.
All right, our final question comes from our very own Adil, who says, while I know that it's the beginning of arc, does anyone else feel that the last few chapters have had weak endings, unlike the usual big cliffhangers? Well, they're certainly not big cliffhangers, but these kinds of chapters don't necessarily lend themselves to being big cliffhangers unless you're going to start off the arc with a bang. You're going to have to maintain that momentum. At a certain point, you're going to have to slow down.
Yeah, you got to start. You got to start somewhere, so you have somewhere to build up to. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could be gag cliffhangers, but that would be. Oda doesn't usually do that.
Well, most of
Except for
Reminds me
Dubal.
a lot more. Reminds me a lot more of like maybe like a little earlier Shonen Jump, like Dragon Ball. The chapters just kind of end a lot of the time. Like that, it's more about like how it flows in the volume release.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna do it. I have some very cool trivia prepared for you this week, and we're also gonna round off. So let's get ready.
Is that a threat?
Yes. This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 534 for August 27th, 2018. Great show today, you guys, as usual. We had a sumo wrestling match in our manga recap of chapter 915. We had an anime recap. Thank you, Sam. And Ed and Brian, were you both on also? You should probably know.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
sure.
knew that already. And we also
You're also on the anime recap with Sam.
we also had to piece together. We're going to get into trivia. It's a little bit different in a moment, but first, I want to reintroduce, for those who have not heard her, Maddie, our official artist. Maddie, where could people find you?
Hey, people can find me on Twitter at Oh That's Raspberry, where I post lots of One Piece art. I just started selling some very cute Zoro and Chopper keychains, so check those out. You can also find me on Patreon, patreon.com/OhThat'sRaspberry, where for $5 a month you get an exclusive postcard every month in the mail. Also, I will be at Crunchyroll Expo this weekend, and I'll be cosplaying Reiju, so if you see me, say hi.
And, yes, that's Chopper on a Chopper, right?
Yeah, Zoro and Chopper on a Chopper.
That's an underrated pairing. That's a classic pairing.
It is a great pairing.
It is one of my favorites. They're really cute. Zoro's a good big brother to Chopper.
The Chopper should be on his face, though, now that I think about it. Because that's usually where he lands.
That's not how the cover page looks, Zach.
Brian.
You can find me on Dark King Zoro, all one word. That's Twitter. You also check out my DeviantArt, which has not been updated in probably a decade, Banendorf. Check out episodes of Teen Titans Go, Rick and Morty. If you have children, or if you're a child yourself, you might like Little Big Awesome. It's a show on Amazon. Nobody watches Problem Solving anymore, so I won't mention that. And let's see, what am I doing now? Oh yeah, there was a show I was on that got canceled and will never see the light of day. So there's that.
Where can we find?
Was that the show I was on too?
Yep, that's the show Steve was also on.
Wow.
I was on that show too.
Steven, what show that people can't see the light of day of can you promote for us?
You can check out my exclusive only cat pictures of my cat show on my Twitter at Translatosaurus.
I love the show Cat Pictures of My Cat. And of course, how could I possibly forget Sam?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. I got very emotional about Film Z last night.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie. Love it.
Yeah, it's very good. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, My Hero Academia, and Black Clover. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the animated recaps.
Is that your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good choice. Steve.
I'm on social media like Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. It's Steve Yurko, all one word. Sorry if I'm not producing on content lately. I'm pretty busy, but I'm also busy because I'll be at the Crunchyroll Expo this weekend in San Jose.
Are you also cosplaying Reiju?
I will also be cosplaying Reiju. No, not really.
You should be cosplaying Coach McQuirk.
I should be. I basically
have
the same. I have the same build as McGurk, so I think it just works out.
No, you don't.
I just have to walk bow-legged more often.
Okay, maybe if you did
and get some nice pecs, right?
Some really big pecs. You got boobs?
Buy some swords.
In the gym, they're called pecs.
What are they called? what are their names? You don't remember that part.
I don't. Shut up.
Ed, how could the good people out there contact us?
You're Zach underscore.
Wait. Never mind. I was just gonna say it was Big Rig, and Jesse.
Big Rig and Jesse.
Good job, Steve. Ed, how could the good people out there contact us?
All right, you're Zach underscore Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. The podcast is at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/One Piece Podcast. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. One Piece Podcast at gmail.com is our email address. r/One Piece Podcast. That's our subreddit. You can leave us some piece together there. Please support us at Patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAGI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime. And and we say it every week, but if you actually do call in and leave a voicemail, it might just get played on the show.
Yeah, well, provided that my Skype cooperates. With your questions,
and provided the audio quality is such that we can understand you, which has been a problem in the past.
With your questions, your comments, your theories, and your explanation on how the birds, the bees, and the fish really work. So today we have a special game for you guys. A game I am calling "How Well Do You Know Your Straw Hat?"
Oh wow!
Or straw hats. This is how we're going to do it. It's not going to be our normal, speed stuff, although I will encourage you guys to go fast, because we don't have forever. So I'm going to have each of you pick a member of the Straw Hat Pirates in the order that you guys did the manga recap, and you're going to have to name SBS-related characteristics.
What?
So, for example, What animals are they associated with? What colors are they associated with? What nationality? You know, that kind of stuff. Whoever
profile
This is gonna
yeah,
be fun.
exactly. Whoever gets the most points at the end wins. That's all it goes. So I'm gonna have one person at a time, and the thing about it is you get to pick your straw hat, but you can't repeat something that's already been done, obviously. And Steven gets to go first. Steven, what straw hat would you like to see how well you know?
Oh, so I have to stick with one.
Yep, the whole way
whole
down.
time.
Yeah. So Steven, do you get how it works?
Let's find out.
Okay, so Steven, pick a straw hat.
Luffy.
That is a very good person to pick. Okay, so here we go. First, and it could be there's some of these have multiple choices, some of these have one.
Okay, so you're gonna ask the question.
So yeah, I'm just gonna say what is the blank associated with Luffy? What is the
Gotcha.
yeah? So what is the animal associated with Luffy?
Monkey.
Yeah. Pick a number associated with Luffy. He has 3 to choose from.
56.
Yeah. No extra points though if you name other things. Name a color associated with Luffy.
Red.
Name a smell associated with Luffy, like what he smells like.
What he smells like?
Yes.
God.
What does Luffy smell like?
A packet of rubber bands.
No, I'm sorry. The answer was meat. He smells like meat.
The answer is always meat with Luffy.
The easiest one, Steven.
What? Wow, this is a really. Okay.
I mean, doesn't it just sort of end there?
No, there's more.
Okay.
No, there's 15 per person, so that's
Okay.
What?
All right. Let's keep it going.
Okay. What?
Wait, so you're gonna ask Steven all of these at once?
We're gonna ask him.
Yeah,
all-
and then
all
it's
of
gonna
us,
each
all of us.
person. Yeah.
Isn't that a little unfair? Because now it's like I know what questions to expect, and I can.
Well,
Luck
I
of the
can
draw,
take
man.
it.
No,
I
but-
can
But
take
we're all
it.
different. straw
No,
hats.
but he also gets to choose the straw hat first. So yes, the person at the end's going to know the questions the most, but the person at the beginning got to choose the person they want. Anyway, what season do they prefer? Or Luffy? Does Luffy prefer?
Luffy. Spring.
No, I'm sorry. The answer was summer. But he considers snow to be great. And which kind of island would he like to be on?
A summer island.
No, any island where there's meat.
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is a harder one. Favorite food?
Meat
Yes.
on the bone.
No, the correct answer is a bag of rubber bands.
What would his role in the family be? So, like, which member of the family would he be? This is a tricky one.
The middle brother. I don't know.
Sure. You know what? I'll take it. Fourth son. But
Oh yeah.
I think that younger brother. You said middle brother.
Yeah.
The middle brother. Yeah.
Nationality. There are 2 possibilities here.
What was the one? Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a great one. Each straw hat has around like 5 things they think about. Name one of the things.
Meat.
Yes. Also acceptable, pirate and pirate king. But meat is 4 of the 5.
Wait.
So
Are Pirate and Pirate King separate answers?
no, pirate king. It's like things that they're thinking of, not really. The rest of them are all one.
I remember that. Yeah, it's like a little
Yeah.
brain graph
Yeah,
thing with
yeah.
little bubbles inside. Yeah.
Okay. This was asked by Robin's voice actress, Yuriko Yamaguchi. What I didn't even know this was this, but what flower would be most suited to Luffy?
Flower.
Yeah, I didn't know this
Luffy.
was a flower, so
Daffodil.
Didn't know it was a flower, so it's got to be something really weird. I don't know. Like a turnip or something.
The answer is Cosmos.
Cosmo. Oh, okay.
Is that a flower? I've never
that's
heard that.
that's a popular flower in.
It is an Animal
it's
Crossing.
Totally a flower.
Yeah.
So the next one is blood type. You could choose either the actual real one or the one in the One Piece world.
I don't know either.
You
I don't know
should.
anything
Oh,
about
come
blood
on,
type.
Steven.
You
This is
should.
an easy one.
This is actually easy.
All right. I don't know. Luffy. Let's see. I think he has blood type F.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Pulled it out of your butt. Take my effing blood.
Yep.
You remember that?
Mhm.
How
Yep.
often does Luffy bathe?
Once a week.
Yep. What prefecture would Luffy be from?
Oh man.
Hmm.
What prefecture?
This is the hardest one. Like
yeah.
generally the hardest question for everyone. I
Yeah.
think.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say Kumamoto.
No,
Because it's
Okinawa.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Sea of Origin in the One Piece world.
East Blue.
Yeah, that's just like a real question.
Okay.
And you're done, Steven. So that's
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 15. Not bad at all.
Wow. I thought it was like 5 out of 15.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
not bad
cool.
at all.
Who's next?
Sam is next. Which straw hat would you like?
Nami.
Okay, here we go. First, animal.
Cat.
Correct. Number. There's 3 choices here.
Oh, I don't
Actually,
know.
there's 2 choices. 2 are the same. I don't know why it's listed.
I don't know, like 31.
No, I'm sorry. The answers were 3 and 73, which spell not me. Is that correct, Steven?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, like so, just like her joining number would have been good.
Yep. You're getting it now. You're getting the patterns. Color.
Orange.
Yep. What does Nami smell like?
Tangerines.
Yeah, I'll take it. Shit. She smells like Mikan, which I think is a citrus
Yeah,
fruit.
that's
And
tangerine.
Yeah, and
that's
money.
her thing.
She also smells like. What is her favorite season?
Spring.
No, summer. What island?
Oh,
what-
really?
Yeah, what season island does she prefer?
Is that one spring?
That one is spring.
Okay.
She prefers summer on a spring island. So that's how that would work.
Oh, right.
Favorite
It gets
food.
complicated.
It does get complicated. Favorite food.
Tangerines.
Yeah. It gets easy eventually. What would her family role be?
Tangerines.
First daughter.
There's only one daughter, so yes, that I'll take it. What pick her nationality. She has 2 choices.
Sweden.
Yeah, the other one is American. She wore her cowboy attire in that
Yeah.
color spread.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I agree. Swedish is the more correct answer, so you're good.
Swedish.
She thinks of 5 things. I'll give you a hint. 4 of them are the same.
Tangerines and money.
Yeah, money, and beauty. But I'll give it to you.
I guess, yeah.
What flower suits her?
I don't know my flowers.
It's an easy flower. It's a flower you have heard of. Come on.
Sunflowers?
Yeah.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, good pull. Blood type. Either the
Oh.
fake one or the real one.
Do we have our fake one?
Yeah. They gave all of
Weird.
them.
So Oda's given them real ones and fake ones, all
Yep.
of them.
Well, remember in Japan, your blood type is like what personality you
Right.
have. So
Yeah, I could
And I don't know the personalities very well.
here,
but-
I could give you what each of them are, so you have a choice,
Mm.
and so everyone else has one in the future.
Okay.
It's X is to A, F is to B, S is to O, and XF is to AB. I don't know if that helps you at
That's a
all.
lot.
Yeah,
of
well,
letters.
because I'm trying to remember what the personalities of blood types are. I'm just
Just
gonna say
pick
AB.
No, I'm sorry, it was A. Bathing amount.
Bathing amount every day.
Yeah. You're doing pretty damn well. What prefecture is she from?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no clue.
I've never, where is this one? Ehime? Does anyone
That's
know?
on Shikoku,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
tiny island.
but it has the kanji for princess or Hime's princess, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like yeah, okay. Otohime. Isn't that queen then? Wouldn't that be queen? Anyway, Sea of Origin.
East Blue.
Yeah, that'll do it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 also.
Oh, wow.
I have some tiebreakers, don't worry. Brian. Brian,
Brian.
you're on.
Sweet. Frankie.
Good choice. Just because I like him. Not for any other reason. What animal? You have 2 choices here.
Rhino.
Yeah, the other one is bull. Pick your Frankie numbers. There's 2 of them.
Well, he said rhino, and that's no bull.
No bull.
Where are the secondary animals coming from? Is that like
The color spread.
Yeah, I think
figures.
one's from the color
Yeah.
spread and one are from the figures. That's where I believe these are both from. These are from One Piece Wiki, by the way. So if you have any qualms,
Like everything we do.
Frankie's
Frankie.
numbers. How many numbers are associated with him?
There's 2 different numbers. So you have 2. That means you have 2 out of all numbers.
Right. Oh God, I can't remember his birth date. 8.
Yep. Color.
That light blue. That's his hair color.
Perfect. Yeah. Not just blue, light blue. Specific smell. What does he smell like?
Oil. Gears.
Cola.
Sorry.
I thought it was
Smells like
sawdust.
cola.
I thought it
Damn
smelled
it,
like
you're right.
sawdust.
Yeah, it's cola.
I don't have that here, but that wouldn't have. He didn't get it anyway. What season and then on what island would he like that season? Those are
God. Summer on a summer island.
summer on a spring island.
Damn it.
So you get 1 of 2.
That's so confusing.
Yeah.
Favorite food? There's a lot of choices here.
Hamburgers and cola.
Yep, it's hamburgers, French
French
fries, and food that complements cola.
Yes.
So good job, Brian. You're doing well.
Well, that's the one I'm like, I totally 100% on Frankie's side.
Yeah, me too. Family member. What would his role in the Straw Hat family be?
He is the father.
Yes, he is.
Who's your daddy?
Nationality.
American.
Yeah, the other choice is Chinese when he was in the kung fu costume.
Yeah, again, I agree with Sam. That doesn't
Yeah,
count.
I don't think that counts either. That's like if you can't
That's like
really
they were
get it.
visiting. They
Yeah.
were visiting those countries.
That's like basing stuff off of old like Epcot promotion artwork of the Disney characters dressing up as like all the different regions in Epcot.
Okay,
So
so this,
Goofy's Chinese. No, he's just Goofy.
so this one's a good one. 5 things Frankie are thinking. 3 of them are the same.
Ships.
No, I'm sorry. It's weird dance iron. I'm
Oh
guessing
my
weird could
God.
also mean like perverse.
Weird is for pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's
Yeah.
hen for hentai.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have sworn he had his ship in that little head.
What
Oh.
flower would Frankie have?
Oh God, I'm just gonna guess.
This is the hardest. I think this.
Yeah.
Sam was lucky.
Because like I don't know flowers that well.
Me neither.
Dandelion.
Dandelion. Anemone. Frankie's blood type.
I also have no clue.
Say something.
It's iron.
Iron's in
Much
all
iron is
blood
blood.
types, so I will give you another chance.
He is an iron-blooded orphan.
Yeah.
Yay, Gundam. I don't know.
Let's pick a letter.
A.
No, AB.
Swap.
How often does Frankie bathe? Probably one of the harder.
I think he was every day or two.
Every 3 days is the
He's
answer.
3.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What prefecture is Frankie from?
Fuck if I know.
Nagasaki. Is the
Nagasaki,
answer.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I
There's
should've
no way I
given
was
you a
gonna get
chance.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, don't think about the Baltimore stuff too much.
Is that the last one?
No,
Okay.
there's 2 more. One more. Sorry. Sea of Origin. That's the last one.
Oh, South Blue.
Correct. So you like got a million in a row, and then you missed like 10 in a row.
Yeah,
so
once we
1,
got to
2,
those
3,
points, I was like,
4,
I
5,
don't know what
6, 7.
flowers are.
So you got 8. You got 8, which is I think extremely respectable. Ed, you were next, which is I guess why you were so ready to go. Which character would you like?
I'll go with Zoro.
Yeah, I'm shocked that hasn't been taken.
I thought Brian would, but Frankie also makes sense.
Yeah, Frankie's a good choice. Zoro's animal. He has 2 choices here.
He is a tiger.
Or a shark, yes.
Yeah.
Numbers associated with Zoro. There's 2 of them for some reason.
3.
No, 1 and 2.
Oh, I thought it was the three sword style. That's all right.
That would make sense.
You should have
Color.
gone with 11. Or
Color.
11.
What was the next one?
Pick a color.
Oh, green. Yes.
Yes. What does he smell like?
Steel.
Perfect. Yeah. Island and season.
Fall on a autumn island.
Perfect.
Really?
Yeah, autumn
Wow.
on an autumn island. Favorite food.
Beer.
I'm gonna give that to you because it's anything that complements beer. What white rice, sea king meat, and food that complements beer. So I'm gonna give that to you. So far, no one has missed the food category. I just want to mention. Family role.
Eldest son.
Perfect. Also, no one's missed that somehow.
Wow.
Nationality.
Japanese.
Yeah, German is the backup.
Read
there.
the later Hosen.
With the later Hosen. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inner brain thoughts. There are 5. 2 of them repeat.
Sword.
Sword, strength, train, sleep.
All right.
Good job. Flower.
Mm,
This one's an interesting one.
Tulip.
Flower guy.
No, thistle.
of course.
That's, I think, a really good choice, actually. Blood type.
Which one hasn't been said yet? O?
No, it's AB. It's the
Okay.
universal receiver or the donor. Which one is that?
I think it's receiver, yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. He's pretty selfish. Bathing
He
amount.
needs the blood.
Yeah, he does. How often does he bathe?
Once a week.
Perfect. What prefecture is he from? Is one you've heard of.
Wait. Saitama.
No. Hokkaido.
Oh, okay.
And where is he from? What's the sea of origin?
East Blue.
Yep. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is in the lead. So it's up to Steve. And no one's picked your favorite character yet, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do that?
It's pretty obvious. Let's go with Jinbei.
Seriously?
No.
That's Sanji.
Sanji.
Okay, Sanji is cool. Start with the animal. There's 2 choices for some reason here.
Duck.
Yep, the other one is bighorn sheep. Specific numbers associated with Sanji, there's 4.
3.
Nope. None of them are 3.
Damn it, why did I not pick the order he joined?
5, 32, 59, which is Koku, as in cook, and 7.
Yeah.
Specific color.
Blue.
Yep, everyone, that it's official, everyone knows their colors. What does Sanji smell like?
I'm gonna say cigarettes.
Yeah, and seafood. Season and island. Oh god, this is a tricky one.
I still don't get the
no,
concept.
You don't need to get the concept. Just think like Sanji.
Well, you remember, like, the Grand Line Islands all have their own.
Don't even think about what. Don't listen to Brian. Just think like Sanji.
Think like Sanji.
How would Sanji answer the question?
I'm horny. Lady Island during mating season. I don't.
Be more specific.
Am I supposed to answer like with the actual seasons then?
Steve, be more specific.
Amazon Lily.
No, I'm sorry. The answer is Robin on a Nami Island.
That's. I was never gonna get that.
And you guys don't like
So
Sanji.
good.
I tried to help you there, Steve. I tried hard. Favorite food?
I don't know the name of it, but it's that seafood dish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Spicy seafood pasta, which is what is that called?
Paella?
Yeah, no,
Paella?
it's the other one.
Popeye.
Okay, never mind. And food that complements black tea, as we know Sanji likes his black tea. Okay. Sorry, so I'll give you that one. What is his role in the as a family member? What would his role be? Or where would he be?
Luffy was what, the 4th son?
The 4th son.
Well, he's definitely a son. Man, I want to think he's either. Like he's the second oldest son, or he's twins with Zoro.
Second is correct. I'll give
Okay.
it to you. Yeah. Nationality.
Third.
Who's the third?
Oh, Usopp.
Yeah, there you go.
Sanji in the Vinsmoke family.
Nationality for Sanji.
France.
Yeah, the backup is France. So you
No one ever says Italy.
By the way, everyone got food, family role, and nationality. No one missed that. Inner thoughts. He has 5. 2 of them are exactly the same. 3 of them are similar. The other 3 are similar.
See, my original thought was kind of similar to the Islands one. I mean, it's definitely ladies, but I want to think Nami and Robin specifically are some of those thoughts.
You've gotten 3 out of the 5. Do you want to do the other one? Because it repeats.
Food?
Yeah, cook. So it's
Cook.
women, cook, Nami, Robin. I don't know what he's doing in there.
Why is there repeated thoughts? I also think about cooking and also cooking.
What
it's like
flower?
a bar graph. It's like a circle graph.
Yeah, think of it like that. What flower does you're never gonna get this.
Probably not. Oh, so if it's not my it's probably not either of my picks.
You could say both because I guarantee you it's neither.
I was thinking sunflower or rose, but
nope,
definitely
it's
not.
None of those.
What?
Brook is a rose and sunflower is Nami. We did that one already. The answer is delphinium. Blood type. This is a major plot point in
I know.
One Piece, yeah.
What are the One Piece blood types?
Well, remember he also had it with the specific factor that made it extra rare. The One Piece ones are X, F, S, and XF.
One more time.
X, F, S, and XF.
Well, he's not F. I think he's XF.
No, the answer is S with an RH negative factor or O with an RH.
Oh, that was my second choice.
You could have said S. I would have taken it. And
Yes,
how
Sanji.
often does Sanji bathe?
Every day.
Wait, we still have more. I don't know why I said that like it was the last question. What prefecture would he be from? It's one you've heard of.
Well, it's not Hokkaido, because that was going to be my guess.
That's right. It's not Hokkaido.
Chopper's
It's
right.
one I've heard of.
Chopper is Toyama, if you're curious.
Oh.
How many prefectures are there?
A lot.
49.
Gah. It's one I've heard of.
Nebraska. No.
It's one I've heard of.
Yeah.
How obvious is it?
It's a pretty big one. That's the last hint I'm
I
giving you.
think I know which one this is.
Man.
It's a top 5 one. Like, you should... Maybe even top 2.
Kyoto?
Yep.
Ah!
I gave you a
one
lot
of
of
the
hints.
Western. Yeah, I knew it was one of the Western Japan, like either Osaka or Kyoto. Or,
Has anyone else gotten that right?
I don't think so.
No, you're the first one. But I also gave you a lot of
Yeah,
hints.
you
Yeah.
like 5 hints.
I've given everyone, I think, some hints, though. Sea of
Yeah.
Origin.
North Blue.
Yep, everyone got that one correct. The only one who missed bathing amount was Brian. And the only one who missed inner
I knew
thoughts
Frankie was like in the middle.
Brian.
Uh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means Ed wins with 11. Three-way tie for second place, and Brian has 8. Good job, guys. This was a lot of fun.
I just said 5. I would have tied with
Ice
that.
or not.
That was a good one. I'll try and do something similar to that in the future. Maybe we'll just do it with the other characters at some
It
point.
only took 45 minutes.
Yeah, that was a long one. 20 minutes.
The
So
battery's dying.
thank you guys so much for playing that game this week. We'll be back next week with our manga recap of chapter 916 as Wano continues our anime recap and a lot more. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see ya. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And he goes, his might is simply inhuman. Beat Urashima, you slugs! I put money on you. The undefeated monster Urashima, the Yokozuna. Oh, Urashima.